Hey, what up, YouTube? This is Eric at Hormones for Me YouTube channel with Ryan Root at hormonesforme.com. TRT HRT Clinic. Tonight with us is special guest Dave Perez. He is actually a new client. He's actually been on a fitness journey, and we talked the other day on Saturday, Dave and I. How this works is a lot of times with a new guest, especially when you have something that's like an in-depth presentation tonight on a transformation. I like to talk to the guest beforehand, so I know how to put together the outline and what we're going to share and whatnot. As soon as I started talking to this dude, it was like I've known him forever, man. You know, it's like I was like, yeah, 20-minute phone call. Usually that's usually all it is. We talked for an hour. And I actually ended up having to go only because my wife came home with the groceries. So Dave's an awesome dude. We're gonna have a fun time tonight. He's gonna share an awesome transformation story. um, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat that I can't see because I closed it out. What's up, guys? We'll be saying hi to you in a few minutes here. I want to say, Ryan, good to see you, man. I know that we've all been crazy busy and we don't really even talk anymore. It's pretty
Yeah.
wild. So, how you been?
Good. Yeah, good. It is. It has been very busy. We have a lot of stuff going on in the background. A lot of improvements, and I think we're going to talk about some of that today about what we're what we're preparing here for the future, and how we're going to develop and evolve into the most tech advanced and most innovative, all inclusive health wellness clinic in the country. And we have grand plans, and we are executing on all of them.
No doubt. Yeah. So before we get to Dave tonight, all right, we're going to actually have a nice introduction. Dave, he's a 41-year-old man. Now he started his fitness journey and his weight loss journey a little over a year ago. Before he got on TRT, he started with GLP, which we'll talk about a little later. But we are going to get in because I suppose I can say this without violating HIPAA, and I'm going to let Ryan interject if I'm about to violate HIPAA by saying something which you passed along to me a little while ago about who's the new client.
No, that's fine. Just so Dave's okay with it. Like if Dave,
yeah, oh
Dave,
yeah,
Oh, okay, good. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to be sure. So,
Dave
Dave,
gives the authority to release his health information, and if he
That-
does that verbally, then that's fine.
yeah.
Okay,
No, we're
great.
good. We're good, man.
All right. Thanks for that consent, Dave. So I understand now that you are a client at H4M, and we just like to, before we get into your story and all of the things that you have that we're going to share tonight, such as your labs, DEXA scan, pictures, on and on. It's going to be fun. We'd like to talk about the onboarding process, about how this is truly no BS. Like this is just something that you could just rush right into and get your hormones and within a week or so after the consult, and then after you speak to the provider. And we'd just like to talk to you a little bit about the process and how it worked for you. I was going to pass this off to Ryan here because this is actually his clinic, and about the onboarding and what it was like to get registered with the clinic. So we're going to ask you a few questions on that. I'm going to pass it back off to Ryan here for a minute.
Yeah, Eric, do you want to? Should we like go over the Medium article right now?
Oh, you want to do the Medium article first? Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Well, and then that will transition into Dave's experience on board.
I got you.
Right?
Yep.
So this goes back to what I was just talking about what we're building here, right? So we don't have to read this whole thing, but I think if we take a look at longevity pioneers, what they're building, right, and what has made some of the main influencers in this market popular. Like, so we look at Peter Attia, right, who's building what he's calling medicine 3.0, a proactive data-centric model focused on extending health span rather than merely treating disease, right? It's a proactive approach as opposed to a reactive approach. He discusses everything: nutrition, exercise regimens, sleep hygiene, emotional resilience, calibrated to metrics like mitochondrial function and hormone profiles, right? So that's what, as we build, we're going to include all of this. You have to encompass the whole lifestyle for true longevity, true wellness, right? The whole lifestyle has to be there. We're going to have nutrition, registered dietitian, nutritionists that are going to help people with diets, and we're going to, diets. We're going to have personal trainers, online personal trainers that can help people with exercise regimens. We start just really diving into everything that creates lifestyle and wellness, right? We also talk here about Andrew Huberman, about how he kind of became known for hormone optimization, more behavioral tools, like, and he's actually big on like light exposure supplements, providing hormone optimization through supplements. It's funny, like, I don't know, Huberman's early days, he was really not well educated on hormones. So he had like really bad information. I remember he actually had Derek from More Plates, More Dates on his show. And that's when he started like changing his attitude towards using testosterone. He got on TRT himself. He had great responses to testosterone himself. So now he's kind of like on the hormone balancing train, right? Halle Berry, she's got, she adopted a low carb ketogenic approach for rigorous fitness tailored to blood sugar control, menopausal shifts, and has maintained remarkable vitality in her later decades. She's got a platform called Respin. She advocates for women's health, including menopause support, metabolic precision, drawing from her journey to inspire accessible strategies for chronic condition management. Now, if you remember, like, Halle Berry was huge for women's HRT that includes testosterone, because she came out semi-recently. Remember when those came out? She was on an interview with a doctor, and she actually told people, I'm taking testosterone and it's fantastic, and females should look into this. And the doctor that was interviewing her also indicated she was on testosterone, right? And this started really changing the game. I know that we shared the clip on here, and so these are people who are kind of pioneering all of what we're doing here. Dana White is another good one. Didn't we play the video, Eric, where Dana White said, I will never go to a doctor for my general health again, right?
I don't know if we actually played it on the live stream, but I am pretty confident that we did publish that as a reel.
Oh yeah, I think we did. Yeah, so it's a fantastic, it's just, you couldn't say it more perfect than Dana White did, right? So here's a billionaire who has vacated the medical system because they just did him wrong, right? He was like bedridden. He was the founder of the UFC. Now he's sold it for billions of dollars, but he's still a part of it. And he was just bedridden. He couldn't really do anything. He said he was on 14 different medications. I think it was 10 to 14 medications. They were all causing side effects, and he was just doing terribly. Gary Brecka, he found Gary Brecka, which turned him on the hormones and just lifestyle changes. He got off every single medication. So now he's like one of his famous quotes is, I will never go to the my general practitioner for general health again. He says, if I break something, if I need a surgery, I'll go to my doctor, right? But for general health, never again, because they don't know what they're doing, right? And it's just, you couldn't have said it more perfect, right? So he got his hormones balanced. He just changed his lifestyle. He changed all of his routine, his regimen to preventative medicine, and instead of taking reactive approaches to his health, right? And now he's off of all his medications except, he just takes testosterone. So, we've pulled from a lot of this. So some of the things that we're doing is, like I said, not only are we going to include nutrition and lifestyle, but we're also going to include, training. We have SG Analytics, the largest AI development firm in the country. In the world. They are building a machine learning internal system for us and we're feeding it thousands of data points of people's blood work, of the hormone protocols and blood work after that, right? And then our chief medical officer and myself are going to train this. These are the protocols that we use in certain scenarios, and after hundreds of thousands of data points, which we've been feeding it, it will learn and be able to use genetic analysis. Now we have genetic testing, and we're opening up more genetic testing. It will use the blood work. and it will use their personal history, their history of present illness to be able to suggest these protocols that, for each individual. We'll be able to just do it on a much more massive scale, right? The other thing that we're going to be doing is having a dashboard, right? We're having SG Analytics build a dashboard. This dashboard will take live data from people's Oura Rings, from their Apple Watch, from any other live feed that we see. It will feed all of this information into real-time data on this dashboard that we can see, the providers can feed, but also we can feed this through the SG Analytics machine learning, and it can spit out real-time protocols. Oh, maybe, it could see things like, okay, your oxygen went down while you slept. This could be the beginning develop of sleep apnea. Here's what you need to do, right? It could do things like just start to catch little insulin spikes, or it could catch little things in your blood work that indicated, okay, we might want to increase your estrogen or increase your testosterone, or maybe increase your injection frequency because we're seeing this data, right? So, I mean, all of these things, we have real-time data giving instant protocol changes. It's just really going to be something that nobody else is developing, right? So with all these things that we're doing differently, now Dave has become a patient of ours recently.
Mm-hmm.
And we just wanted to know, like, what did you thought of the onboarding process? Because I remember when you were talking to me, and I said, oh yeah, so here, like, you just go through our process, and you, as far as I saw, you got through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, it was super easy, and it was relatively fast. I mean, I already had my most recent blood work done. Yeah. So that made it a little bit faster, probably, without having to, go get blood work and wait if I hadn't had that. But
yeah, that's a thing that we offer. Like, there's a lot of companies who make you go get their blood work. Right?
Yeah.
No, you have to get blood work. And but that's like speed to care and ease of use. Like, if you got blood work, we'll take it.
Right. And that was awesome. And I think that makes it really, really user friendly for people that are already on any kind of hormone replacement and looking to transition to you guys as a new provider. So
yeah. So
one thing we also want to talk about is a lot of people, because like I'm banned from pretty much every subreddit as a shill or a promoter because I go on there and I actually tell the truth. That's the thing. But because I always reference hormones for me, they just see me as a shill. And then, of course, they look at my profile. Every single comment's about hormones for me, so I can't really blame them. But so a lot of the complaints that you hear on, especially these forums, is, oh, I signed up with this clinic and I'm getting charged this much for the consult, and then every 8 weeks they just auto ship me my meds and I got to pay for them and all this crap. Now, in this case, there's actually a no-fat process where there's no onboarding fees. You have no consultation fees. There's no contracts required. So how did you feel about that? Was that something that was pretty easy for you?
No, yeah, that part is super attractive, and it was very easy. Like I said, I mean, I filled out the initial intake paperwork. My health maverick reached out to me very quickly. I got my call scheduled with him. We talked about my current protocol and everything that I had currently going on. And then, I was able to get set up on the online portal, upload all my documents that I needed to upload, like my blood work that I had and everything. And we were able to schedule my appointment with Dr. Arvind really, really quickly. So,
oh, great.
Yeah, that's great. So what state do you live in, Dave?
I'm in Oregon.
Okay. So, did you see
the land of the rain?
Did you see Arvind in Oregon? I think Arvind does have an Oregon license, but you're supposed to go with a provider. Is that who you saw here? I'll check.
Yeah, that was who I got assigned to.
Now I gotta yell at the health mavericks for sending the wrong provider.
Uh-oh. Look what you did. You caused trouble.
Dude. Let me see here. I'm looking it up right now. Sure enough, Oregon. All right. Well,
yeah. Nice.
You might have
that happens.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. There you go.
Maybe on my next appointment.
So, lastly, is the affordability and transparency, because really this clinic here is truly one of the lowest priced clinics there is. Everybody, it's like you see like Peter MD, $89 a month or something like that. Okay, but it's a bunch of bullshit if you
Yeah,
actually look into it.
there's a lot of the hidden little fees and different things, like you said, requiring their blood work, and
Mhm.
it's not always what it seems to be as advertised, for sure. I noticed. I definitely shopped around a little bit. For the first year of my TRT journey, I was working with Dr. Andrew Wingy from the Man Medicine channel.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And he is definitely not the most cost effective, but he is very good at what he does, and I'm glad I spent my first year with him. And then I had a change at work and had to part ways with him for a little while. And I actually went to my GP. I got him to take it over, and that we know how that works out. Unfortunately, that doesn't work out the best. Those guys just unfortunately don't know how to manage protocols properly, and it wasn't working out. And that's when I kind of had to start shopping around again, and decided to come over to Hormones for Me.
Hey, good choice. You can't go
Yeah.
wrong there. I love Vios actually as a compounding pharmacy. I used to love Revive only because they used to send me literally like every month, never ordered it, 100 freaking pins. But we don't use Revive anymore. But Vios, I actually think is actually faster than Revive even. They had my oh yeah, guys, I'm on a hybrid protocol now. It's pretty wild. But anyways, yeah, my creams arrived. I had them for like 2 days and I didn't even know it until an Amazon package showed up and just clicked a picture and I saw another box behind the shovel. I was like, oh my God, that's my freaking hormones over there. So I was like, sweet. So Dave, yeah, I want to just say hi to the chat quick and then we're gonna get right into your story, bro, because we got a
Yeah,
lot to
sounds
cover
good.
tonight. All right, what's up, guys? We got Boston Sean. He's been dropping messages all night. How you doing? What's doing? H4M. I saw he dropped that many hours ago. What time was that? Like 3:51 p.m. Hey, glad you made it early, man. Hope you weren't waiting all day. Condon, how you been, brother? Good evening, everyone. He says, and of course we got a Thanatos. He's been with us since the very beginning. I think even before we were streaming, he was dropping comments.
Yeah.
So good to see you, man. Evening, folks. D-ball questions are welcome tonight. Oh, thanks for saying that. Yeah, guys, I want to let you know that's going to be an on-topic Q&A as we go throughout the stream tonight. Of course, at the end of tonight's stream, we will have a lightning round open Q&A. So go ahead. Feel free to drop your questions. We'll flag those for you. We will get to them at the last segment of the show. Thank you very much. All right, Zionic, member Zionic at that evening. Ryan and Eric, Dave, respect on that transformation. Looking forward to the discussion. Yeah, Zionic, he definitely has one hell of a transformation himself. So who else do we got in here? Oh, No Waker. Yeah, No Waker. Howdy. How you doing, man? Good to see you. And member No Waker also as well. And of course, we have.
He's coming on the show.
Right. Yeah, that's right. He is coming on the. Gosh, we're gonna when we plug the shows towards the end. I got to pull up the schedule because we're actually booked out to the third week of February now. Last one, Simon, and not but not least, and he's got the wrench. Him and the Thanatos are going to battle it out. What's up, guys? He says, "What's up, Simon M? Good to see you, my friend." All right, we're going to get started. We're going to introduce Dave again. Like I said, he's a 41-year-old man. He's been on GLPs. He's gotten onto TRT, peptides, and a fitness program to achieve really incredible and dramatic body recomp and fat loss in just over a year. It's a pretty amazing story. So we are going to go ahead and get into Dave's story. And I'd like for you, Dave, to just introduce yourself to the audience with a backstory about pick up like where you feel that this story begins for you as far as this journey goes.
Well, I mean, for me, it started when I turned 40 years old. You know, I was feeling off. I wasn't feeling like myself. Probably for, you know, can't really pinpoint a time when it started going downhill, but probably for a few years. And I went in for my annual wellness exam with the doctor and said, you know what, man, run some extra blood work instead of just the basic stuff they normally run. I had them start checking my hormones, and my total testosterone came back at 137 nanograms per deciliter. So it's pretty much bottomed out, you know, almost non-existent there. It's very low.
It's actually dangerous. Like that's.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah. After seeing it, I mean, I was amazed that I got up and functioned every day. I mean, I went to work at 6 a.m. I got off at 2:30, and by 3 p.m. I was passed out on the couch taking a nap until my wife would get home from work later that evening and wake me up for dinner. And basically had no energy to do anything extra in between there, and just living on energy drinks all day long, at work. So,
Hey, for context, I want to give the audience here, and this is what Dave was here when he was actually 370 pounds. Let me shrink this down a little bit so we
yeah,
can
that
get a
was
view of that.
370 pounds. That was probably 2019, that picture.
One strike is you're a KC fan.
Hey man, we're bad again. I've been a KC fan for a long time. They were really bad for a long time, and then we got really good, and now we're kind of bad again. So
Christina,
I've come full circle.
My girlfriend's a KC fan too, so she'll appreciate that.
Perfect. That's great.
Oh yeah. So then now I understand also that you began tirzepatide in what, 2024?
Yeah, 2024. So yeah, when I was still 40 years old, I started the tirzepatide first. So when I found out my testosterone was low, I started doing a bunch of research on that, and the hoops you got to start jumping through with that. Since I was with a GP at the time, had to wait, take another test, and then okay, your second test is low. We're going to refer you to an endo. And then I had to try to get established with an endo, and they're like, oh, we can't. This was, this all started at the end of June. I think my first lab work was in July. My next lab work was, a couple weeks later, closer to August. And then the endos are all saying, oh, we can't get you until, maybe December, probably January. And I'm like, and you want me to feel like crap for the next, 6 months basically before you can even get me in to talk to me? And, and then that probably wouldn't have gone well anyway. They would probably have put me on some bunk protocol that probably would have not been very good. And
well, how the tirzepatide treat you actually while you're on it?
Tirzepatide has been great, man. I think I lost 20 pounds I started it in August, and by September, the end of September, I was down from 340. I was 340 last August when I started. So going back a little bit further, back in 2019, in that picture, I was 370. During COVID, unlike everybody else, instead of gaining weight like everybody else did during those times, I actually lost weight. But I wasn't like working out or anything. It was just fixing my diet and, caloric restriction. And I actually got down to 270 pounds. So I lost 100 pounds.
Wow.
And then, then the world opened back up, and I fell back into my old habits, and I ended up getting back up to 340 pounds.
Wow.
So I was back up to 340. And then I started the tirzepatide that August of 2024.
Yeah. Now, what are we looking at here? What this year picture, September 24 to September 25?
So September 24, I'm probably about 320, 325 in that picture. That's when I started my TRT. I started September 20th actually, so that was like a weekend, and I was down about 20 pounds, so I was about 320, 325 in that from 340. And then that other picture there, I've been floating around 250 roughly, give or take.
Right.
Anywhere down from 247 up to like 255. So, and then we got some more.
Yeah, we'll save some. We'll save some of those
pictures. I sent you as many as I could, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get to those, of course, but we're on a roll here. So now you got on TRT. You've been on a GL.
I just want to understand the timeline a little better. When did you start testosterone again?
September of 2024.
Okay, and when did you start tirzepatide again?
August of 2024, a month prior, like a month before. So yeah, I started the tirzepatide a month before. Okay. Lost 20 pounds just using the GLP, and then because it took me about that month to figure out and find a provider. That's when I started working with Dr. Andrew Wingy, and over there at Man Medicine, and was able to start my TRT journey with him. So
okay, all right, good.
Okay, I want to take a look here at this first DEXA scan that you have for us. And this was taken on 11/25 of 24.
Right. Yeah, that was in November of 24. So that actually on there somewhere, I think it says I weighed 316. That was actually because the DEXA scan machine, I was too wide to completely fit in the DEXA scan. If you look at the scan itself, you can tell my arms are cut off right there because I was so wide. My arms didn't fit inside the box you need to be inside of to get the full scan. So when it estimated my weight, it actually estimated me lower. I was like 325 that morning. I looked at my scale. I've got a digital scale, and I weigh myself daily actually to see the fluctuations. And so that morning I was 325, which is what I told her. So that 325 was manually entered, but on one of the other pages of the scan, it actually estimated me at 316 pounds on one of the other pages. And I'm like, that's how much, it cut off of my arms, basically. You can see my elbows.
Right.
It's the one like that looks more like a heat map. I think it's further down the red and blue.
No, I didn't even realize it was this big. There you go. Here you go. Yeah,
they're very
316.1. Yep.
Yeah, 316. If you go down a little bit more, there's a good scan that shows like your body fat heat map. Yep. I think with all the different colors. This is the bone density one, and then you keep going. This
there it is.
That one right there. So all the blue is muscle mass. All the red is body fat, and then the red in the middle, obviously around my abdomen, is all visceral fat. And so on one of these pages here, it said my visceral fat, I think, was like 3.6 pounds during this first scan here that November. So
now you're also a large guy. I mean, you're like what, 6'3", correct?
Yeah, I'm just shy of 6'3". Yeah, 6'2", so 6'3". Yeah, so I've always been a big guy. I mean, I've always been a big kid. I played football growing up, and it was one of those things where it was like, oh, you like. When I told people I was 370 pounds, they're like, oh, you don't even seem like you're 370 pounds. And, it's like, oh, I carry it well, because it's distributed a little bit better when you're taller, I guess. But then now when I look back at pictures, I'm like, I looked every bit of 370 pounds. I think people were just being nice or something, man.
Yeah, right.
It's like, I don't know.
Dude, I was huge too once for several years. I'm only 5'8", and I was over 250. And I mean, when I say I had zero muscle, I mean, I literally had zero muscle. So I was all fat, bro. I mean, it's crazy when you're big like that, and you feel it too. I mean, I was laid up on a couch. I want to get into my story, but I understand obesity, bro. It's rough.
For sure. Yeah.
Now,
go ahead.
I wanted to ask you, how did you feel? What was your motivating factor to say, screw this, I've had enough, I'm only 40 years old, I want to get my life back?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I mean, just feeling like the way I felt was a big one. Like I said, turning 40. I think anybody that's turned 40 kind of knows that's that point where you're like, man, I'm like halfway there. Maybe like this might be the halfway point. What's going on with my life? And then I was coaching. I still do. I coach my son's wrestling team and volunteer. To coach the wrestling team, and there's a lot of stuff I couldn't do. I couldn't even do a single push-up when I was 340 pounds, and I was probably close to 50% body fat when I was 340. I was, I think 43% in that first DEXA scan that you showed at 325 pounds. I was still 43% body fat. And that was this one here. That was with my arms cut off. So, it might even have been slightly higher than that with my arms, if my arms had been in there.
Wow.
So yeah, it was, it was just one of those things where, it was like, yeah, just a couple different things, just the way I felt, the things I couldn't do that I used to be able to do when I was younger. Like I said, I grew up playing sports. I was a 3-sport athlete all through, middle school and grade school, baseball, football, basketball. I threw the javelin on the track team, in high school. So yeah, it just, it was a long road. And in my 20s, I was I did security downtown. I was a bouncer, at a bunch of nightclubs downtown, and after 20 years of just not taking care of my body, man, it was time to turn it around and get back to something more sustainable for these last, next 40 years. So,
yeah, I can relate to that. Now, I wanted to also ask you, because you and I, when we talked on the phone, you had mentioned that you felt that you were likely, or maybe not hypogonadal, but in the lower quartiles of testosterone your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, we were talking, and I was saying I wish I had kind of maybe gotten baselines when I was younger. You don't even think about checking your hormones when you're, even 15, 18, 20 years old, 25 years old. Every 5 years, if I had started when I was 15 and every 5 years got my hormones checked, I'd know what was going on my whole life. And looking back, like I said, in my 20s, when I was weight training and stuff back then, with my old roommate at the time that I worked out with and stuff, it was like, man, he was packing on muscle left and right when we trained. And, he was a smaller, like 170-pound guy. And, he was outlifting me left and right. And it didn't matter how much we trained all the time. Like, he just seemed to be making progress that I wasn't making. And looking back at it, I'm like, man, if I was at 137 when I was very obese and I'm 40 years old, when I was in my 20s, early to mid 20s, I might have still only been like 300-400, like it might have been super low back then as well.
For sure.
So, because I've always carried a lot of extra body fat and stuff, and it was just one of those things, you know, hard to gain muscle, hard to lose fat, you know, typical stuff.
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about that. Let Ryan talk about that for a bit because it seems like a lot of people, actually, the medical community even has it backwards in many instances, not every case, but in a lot of instances where obesity, they say, is what causes the low hormones. But we know that a lot of times, in many cases, it's the low hormones that actually causes and then exacerbates the obesity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you like to expand on that, Ryan?
Yeah. It's just through data, right? Like there's this narrative and that has been shared throughout the medical community that if you're obese, well, you got to lose weight first because that could be causing your testosterone to be low, and then just stop being fat, and then your testosterone will magically go up, and your life will be, and everything will just get better, right? And it's just the magic thing. And in life, with all the data that we've seen, we see people just lose weight all the time, and their testosterone levels don't improve. Like
Right.
Interesting that you say Dr. Andrew Wingy, because I have been saying that for a long time, and I finally heard it validated by Dr. Andrew Wingy. He said the same thing. He's like, we don't see guys testosterone increase much. He said maybe 10%.
Right, 10%, maybe 20, and then like I said, I was at 137. It's like, so what's
10%?
Yeah.
So what's that going to bring?
Even if it went up 100%, 200%, I'm still at the bottom end of
the
range.
exactly.
You know, so.
And what I'll say though, on top of this concept is I don't think it increases at all, because the 10%, when you start eating better, when you improve your diet, your SHBG goes up. Your hypothalamus is reading your free testosterone, right? So if your SHBG goes up because you eat better, that improves, it reduces some of the factors that inhibit production of SHBG, then your free testosterone is going to go down. So now your hypothalamus will adjust and have you produce more testosterone just to keep your free testosterone the same. So in my opinion, that 10% is actually just, you're keeping the free testosterone the same. You're just accommodating for higher SHBG. But anyways, yeah. So he was like one of the first ones I heard validate that for me, because I've been saying it for a long time, just because I see it all the time. Like I see so much data. There's so much data that just comes through when all of our patients who come in are saying, I tried to lose weight. I did this, and I did all these things. I lost the weight, and I still feel like crap. I still don't have it. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping, I feel like, that happens from people that don't understand it or have never been on that side of it. And yeah, I mean, he definitely started me out a little more conservative on my protocol, and to try to combat any potential side effects that might be exacerbated by being obese and overweight. But yeah, I mean, he definitely understood and even mentioned in like our initial call and stuff when we first started working together that it's one of those things, like you said, where could you lose weight and it could improve? Maybe, a little bit, but is it going to improve that much? Probably not.
Yeah.
Is this going to help you lose the weight? Probably. So
here's the thing I hate the most, right? And I've learned to actually like really despise this, and I call people out who do it. But I'll always get that one guy, right? The one guy who says, I knew somebody who lost weight and their testosterone went up to 800 from 300, right? The one guy that happened. You know what I always say is, fuck that guy. It's not indicative of the rest of the population. If we base all of our biochemistry on outliers, then we're all going to be in big trouble, right? So fuck that guy. I don't care if you know somebody who gained a lot of testosterone. It doesn't happen in the average population. So let's just stick to what's happening with the highest percentage of the people, and that's losing weight doesn't increase their testosterone.
Now, Dave, we talked about like estrogenic side effects and all that, and you said that your doctor initially started you off very conservatively because you were so overweight. And I'm going to pull up these are your pre-TRT labs. We're going to talk about that, and then I'd like to talk about what your dosing was and your E2 and all that. So right here, I'm guessing this is because it's from 7/16/24. This is your pre-TRT lab, correct?
Yeah, that was the lab. So my birthday's at the end of June, and that was the labs for when I went in for that checkup, that annual checkup when I turned 40.
Yeah, let me see if I can increase this here. Where's the plus button? Oh, there we go. Never mind. Let's see. There we go. That big enough? Oh my gosh. All right.
There you go.
Testosterone 137 low. Now, is this LCMS or was this a
No,
assay?
that was a regular assay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A regular assay.
So that's likely even an overestimate, and you're at 137, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I had him do the LCMS on the next one a month later, and it actually went up a little bit from that. So I don't know. I mean, obviously,
it went to
blood work's always
297.
obviously blood work's just a snapshot in time, as we know. So
Oh, we had our good friend Bob Opsal. We did a whole video on the differences between the LCMS and the assays, and he actually had from his wife's one of these anomalies where it was actually the LCMS was much higher than the immunoassay.
Eric, so Dave has done that for us too.
He just did, yeah.
I'm looking at from Dave, which is I hope we have this one. This is probably your most recent blood test. You have the immunoassay and the LCMS on the same
on the newest one, yeah. And actually, the assay was much higher than the LCMS on the newest one. It's backwards from what my pre-TRT was, which is interesting. So
yeah, but
let's take a look here.
That was because the GP that I was working with, I asked him to. I literally gave him a specific list of the labs I wanted done. I even gave him the actual codes for LabCorp and said, "Can you please put this order in for all these labs?" And he got a little lazy, and instead of doing the ones I asked for, which was the LCMS, the ultrasensitive estradiol, my SHBG, he grabbed the one that is lumped together with total testosterone, free testosterone, and SHBG all in one instead of putting in 3 separate labs.
Oh yeah.
And then I had to argue with him almost to get him to do. I was like, "Hey, this is the lab I wanted, and this is the one you put in the order for. Could you change this?" And he got like upset with me because I was asking him to change it, and he was telling me it didn't make a difference, and blah, 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 blah. Why do you want that one? I go, because it's the more accurate one. I just want to use the more accurate one.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not going to make a difference on how I manage your protocol anyway. And I'm like, that's fine. And I know it might cost a little more or whatever, but just for me, if you could just do that one, I just like having the more accurate one. It makes me feel better. And it was like a really weird thing. And this was right before we kind of ended our relationship together, actually, with this thing, man. It was pretty crazy.
So is this it, Dave? Is this where the LCMS was at?
Yeah, that's the new
and the SA, because I think we have one more that's actually newer than this, and this is the 1271.
No, that's the newest one. That's the newest one right there.
Oh, it is?
That should be from
this is November 25. This is
the end of November. That was the newest one that I just had.
This is the newest one, yeah.
Okay,
let's take a look.
Highlight those two numbers, Dave. Eric. So see, we're seeing about a 20% difference. So the is reading 20% higher. No way. Hey, can we use this? Because we're doing a show on this where we have other data points to measure this. So can we use this, Dave?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, go ahead, man.
No way here. We're going to send you this information. We have more data here for you because No Waker's been aggregating this data. He's got data points too of the same thing. Immunoassays showing and it was about like 22% higher than the liquid chromatography mass spectrometry. So I mean, but this is important, right? So like if you have 500, if you have a 500, you're like, oh, 500, I'm good, right? But if it's 20% off, that's 100 points less. So we're talking about a 400, and that's like it starts to get significant when we're talking about people right on the edge of what they believe is hormone deficiency or not, right?
Brian, let's see that T-shirt. Come on, Boston Sean wants to see it. So do I. Member Boston Sean. Now you have to show it. He's a member.
Yeah. So Dave's got it. You got the Mr. Olympia. Did you go to this year's Olympia?
Yeah, man, I'm surprised I never ran into you guys, actually.
It was just
the video, unfortunately, is in private right now because the channel's being rebranded, and the video is likely not coming back. But there's a scene where I was recording all of the guest appearances in the Times for the bodybuilders and whatnot. For
the Gym Reaper meet and greet.
Exactly. Lee Priest was up on stage, and I panned over, and then I slowed it down, and I guess we caught you in the
you caught me. Video. I was actually on. Yeah, I was on stage, and then it ended up in the edit.
So wild.
For like a brief second, you can kind of if you know who I am and you're looking just right at the right time. I was like, wait a minute, I was there around that time, and then I'm looking. I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely me on the stage shaking hands with Lee.
Yeah, because we got there pretty much right when it started, so you must have been pretty early, right?
Yeah, we got in line fairly early, right after he got there. It wasn't too long after.
So we were in the same area, but didn't actually run into each other. So
yeah, I'm sure we probably crossed paths numerous times
yeah,
throughout the
I'm
weekend.
sure.
We were there all week. I think we came in Wednesday, and then we were there through the following Monday. So
It was a good time there, man. Real good.
yeah, it was great, man. My wife and I got the VIP passes, and it was our first Olympia, and so we splurged on the VIP passes, and it was well worth it. So
good.
I think some of the pictures, I don't know if we'll get to them, but some of the pictures I sent to Eric.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to them.
Are at the Olympia. We got to go up on the stage and stuff and take pictures with the Sandow trophy, and it was really cool.
That's great.
Yeah,
we're gonna get to those. I'll pull those. I might not have the Olympia pull up right now, but I'll get those up before we go. But I wanted to start talking about the dosing that you were put on and how you weren't really aromatizing, because you and I talked about this, and it made sense from what your provider had done. Was what do you start you out at for first dose?
So we started at 120 milligrams a week, and then I was doing 3 injections a week. You know, I felt like that was kind of the happy medium between not doing enough and then maybe doing so many that, especially when you're starting out, it's a little cumbersome, you know, to do daily injections to keep those levels stable, which, you know, I think Dave Lee says it a lot too on his stuff, is that, you know, the best injection frequency is daily, or however much you can get your patient to do it. Basically, whatever protocol you're going to adhere to is the best protocol, basically. So, you know, if a doctor puts you on a daily protocol and you're doing it once a week because that's all you're, you know, willing to do or stick to, you know, I guess it is what it is at that point. But
Ryan, you've said that a lot of times, actually, that you gotta find out what the client patient is going to actually stick with. What are they going to do? What are they willing to do? Are they going to be able to pin themselves every day, or are they more likely going to want to use a cream?
It's also about what works best for the individual patient. Like, you know, it doesn't matter what people say, what Todd Lee says, that you're an idiot unless you do everyday injections or whatever. Unequivocally, there's just no question about it that some people do better on just two injections per week. I actually saw, I had one patient one time who just felt better on 1 injection per week. He did one big injection per week, and that's where he felt the best. We tried all sorts of other stuff, and he just didn't feel good. 1 injection did it for him. So, okay, let's just do that. And there's absolutely no question about it that some people do better in 2 than less frequent, bigger bolus injections. And you just can't deny that. The data is just there, and there's enough people where it's a thing, right? So, it's just about figuring out what yields the best results for each individual patient. Right?
Yeah. So we started, like I said, at 120, 3 times a week. And I started out just doing subcutaneous too, because it was easier. Plus I was carrying a lot of body fat. So I was like, you know, I'm just going to do sub-Q because I've got a lot of options on where to do my injections, you know, when I'm doing my injections, since I had so much body fat. There's lots of places to choose from. So.
Right. But didn't your E2 come back at 22?
That was actually my pre on that TRT lab.
Okay.
So yeah, that first pre TRT. So my testosterone was only at 137 nanograms per deciliter, and I think my estradiol was like 23, and that wasn't an ultra sensitive either. That was the assay. So that may or may not have been, you know, even a higher number than it was. But I mean, I felt like 23 was actually kind of high for only having 137 nanograms on the.
Well, yeah, actually, in that case, yeah, because I apparently have misunderstood you. Because I was thinking that was actually while you were on 120 milligrams, and then it came back at that. But even when we look at your current blood work, it is at 66. You're at a much higher dose now.
Yeah, I'm over 200. I'm at 250 right now. So with that blood work. That blood work was at about 250.
Okay, I thought you went all the way up to 360. I thought you went all
no. 280 is where my protocol's at right now, is at 280. Okay. But that blood work right there was on 245, I believe, is exactly how it worked out at 35 milligrams daily.
Okay, well, I guess that's pretty normal then.
By the way, Dave, his blood work looks fantastic.
Yeah, it doesn't it? He's got great hemoglobin.
I've been surprisingly, that was one of the things that Dr. Wingy and I talked about when I started working with him too, is my blood work has always been pretty good as far as the metabolic markers and stuff go. You know, my hematocrit, everything. The only thing I did have is my cholesterol was high, and I do use a very, very low dose statin, just 10 milligrams of rosuvastatin and 10 milligrams of ezetimibe. and that's brought me down like perfect on my cholesterol. But my cholesterol was always like, you know, the top of the range is 200. My cholesterol would always be like 204, you know? So it was one of those things too. Like every time I'd go to the doctor, they'd be like, oh, your cholesterol's a little high, but it's not that bad. It's barely above the range at 204.
Yeah.
And so, you know, for 20 years of my life, you know, they were just always like, it's fine. You're young and it's barely above the range. You're fine. Just maybe lose a little weight. You're overweight, you know, and nobody ever treated it. So Dr. Winge was the first one that actually treated my high cholesterol stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I wanted to ask you because when we had talked, like I was like, hey, did you break out in acne, any of these things? No, because when I started, I actually got like, especially the first year, cystic acne on my back. I never really got it on my face, and all of a sudden, because I changed my protocol, I got like a breakout, like right here, that's drying up. But acne has been a problem for me ever since I started hormones. And you don't have that problem. You don't seem to have any. You said that you've never used an AI, correct?
Never used an AI. Yeah. And like I said, that's, you know, 66 is where my E2's at, you know, with no AI. And that's, you know, 200, that was at 245, you know, milligrams a week. I've never used an AI. I've never really had any estrogenic, quote unquote, side effects. You know,
Even when you started, right? So
even when I started, he did warn me, you know, you might have some water retention, you know, maybe mild water retention, but nothing noticeable to where I look different. But like my weight loss stalled for about a month and then it resumed. And I pretty much assumed that maybe that was just that little bit of mild, you know, water retention.
Yeah, just
so,
or a recomp build period where you're actually
right. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, it could have been that as well. Yeah, it was like a stalemate. So yeah, I had about like 6 weeks, you know, 4 to 6 weeks where, you know, I had lost 20 pounds pretty quickly with the tirzepatide, and then when I started the testosterone treatment, my weight loss stalled for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then I started losing again, basically. And so
Dave, what I want to express to everybody is this is a typical story that I hear, right, about people being overweight, start testosterone, don't experience estrogenic effects. If you go on Reddit or if you go to the mainstream, even the people who have learned a little bit about testosterone, the first thing they're going to say is you can't do testosterone because your estrogen is going to go through the roof and you're going to have to, that's another reason people say that the science, the science behind it, right, that people reference is that because adipose tissue creates aromatase enzymes, right? And so you have more estrogen as if you have more adipose tissue, that all the extra estradiol is going to shut down your testosterone production, right? So therefore we got to lose weight, so you lose the enzyme, you lose the amount of adipose tissue, so you're not producing as much aromatase enzymes that convert to estradiol, blah blah blah. And we just don't see it in the field. So take the science, like understand the science and understand that what's more important is what we see in the field, the actual data that comes out of actual experience and the actual field. And we don't see that in the field. I don't see people, just obese people, who have these crazy estrogenic effects, and it's a big problem. And we have to really think about giving testosterone to overweight people. It's just no. Give them testosterone. Look at the effects it had on Dave. It's important. This is a more typical story about what happened here with Dave. We don't see estrogenic side effects, and people just fast forward this weight loss journey and just feeling better and this dramatic improvement in quality of life. And that's what testosterone does.
Absolutely. Now, Dave, when you and I talked, we both agreed about one side effect, and I'm certain that mine has probably been a little more bothersome than yours, but delayed ejaculation. And this is something that many, many men that get on TRT complain about. And we were like, well, you're saying it could be the prolactin, and I was saying it could be progesterone because my progesterone was so high. Maybe it's estrogen, and then a lot of times I would say, well, it could also be androgenic load, because it seems like every time that side effect would happen to me, and I explained to you what happened when I joined the clinic, I had to come off of everything and then restart and slowly add everything back in. Then I got my sensitivity back and everything. And then what happened is that it wasn't too long ago, maybe like a few months ago, I ran into the same problem again. And I said, I know exactly what it is. I pulled the compound, and within a week and a half, I was back. Ryan, please explain to us, and for all the guys out there that feel like they're running on a treadmill when they're having sex with their partner, and it's like it's a marathon. A lot of times, I actually just throw the freaking towel in because when it would happen, because I just get so frustrated. What causes it?
I give up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But now I know what it is. Like, I know how to correct it. Back before, I was like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be able to do it again. This is the worst. I'm horny all the time, but I can't do it.
Yeah. So you kind of mentioned it, right? So we there's an algorithm of things that we look at. The easiest thing and what does probably occur in that situation most often is, well, let's just try to manipulate your estrogen and see if estrogen is causing the sensitivity issue. The next thing we would do is look at progesterone, whether it's too high or too low, or the ratio of progesterone to estradiol is not right. That's the second thing we'd look at. We can do that with pregnenolone or pregnenolone, or try to just see if manipulating progesterone helps. What I do see as well is people who are using HCG. This actually is a side effect of HCG. Whether it be the exact mechanism isn't understood, but I've also seen it with people who use HCG too frequently, because it can, when we use HCG too frequently, you desensitize the luteinizing hormone receptors, right? HCG binds to luteinizing hormone receptors, and you desensitize to that. So now you're not receiving the HCG. So the God, I can't think of any of these things. The steroidogenesis is inhibited. So now we can't produce all the rest of the hormones that we need. So too frequent use of HCG, I've seen cause this too. So sometimes if that's the cause, I'll say, stop your HCG for a little bit, go back to it, and only use it twice per week, right? That's why we only use HCG twice per week. So we don't desensitize the receptors, or the receptors actually recede inside the cell, and then you desensitize to it. So I hear the full story, and then of what's going on, and then we'll start with the algorithm of, let's try this first, let's try this second, let's try this third. And that's generally what it will be. Oh, and like Eric mentioned, though, it can also be symptoms of a symptom of hypertension is both activity issues or erectile dysfunction. So now we're going to check. Okay, let's see are you having symptoms of hypertension? Is there too much water retention? Is there blood pressure up? Is there heart rate up? And let's take a look at those factors. Reducing, and that can come with androgen load, right? So if your androgen load is too high, we can have symptoms of hypertension. So bringing your androgen load down so that we reduce hypertension also can help.
Yeah, I'd say the HCG one is kind of interesting, because I didn't start out with HCG in my protocol, and it probably wasn't until, oh man, how far in were we? We were probably 6 or more months in, maybe even 8 months in, before I added it and had Dr. Wingy add it, because it was strictly for vanity reasons, honestly, to bring back some testicular volume and seminal volume, because that was something that I was just kind of struggling with a little bit. Man, this has definitely changed over the last 6 months or whatever it was, 8 months. And he said, yeah, we can add it in and see how you go. And I feel like I'm one of the guys, he kind of explained it HCG people, either it's the missing link and they feel way better, or they don't feel, or they feel way worse with it, or they don't feel different at all, indifferent to it. I think I fell into the middle group, to where I don't really feel any different, but like I said, it brought back some volume that I had lost, and I like it for that. And but honestly, yeah, now that you mention it, the correlation may kind of be around my HCG dosing. I'm doing 3 times a week, and that may be a little much. And thinking back on that correlation, sometimes when I've got the DE problem or something, or that's taking a little bit longer, it could be kind of correlated to that timing with that as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm glad somebody else finally said that, because I've been saying that about HCG. Just like you said, some people it's the missing link. It's it's the magic bullet that just brings everything together. Most people, I would say, just don't notice a difference, and then they're And then there's a lot of people who have side effects, but you can kind of control that with the dosing. If you do low enough of a dose, that does improve testicular atrophy, but it's low enough so it doesn't cause adverse side effects. You can usually find a dose that doesn't adversely affect people. But for a lot, probably for most people, just they don't feel it, especially if you start off with that low dose. So yeah, Dave, I would say like even try if you're having the sensitivity issues, then you can try just stopping HCG for a little bit and see if you get your sensitivity back. And then if it's a function of I still want to use it for testicular, just use a low dose, like 200, 250 IUs, and just do it twice per week.
Yeah, sounds good. It's definitely worth a try.
I'll tell you what, if Ryan from Cortex was here, he'd say DHT. There you go.
And
that's true, actually.
Yeah. So that is a factor. Like so for that would be like one of the later algorithm things we do. But I would say let's try a hybrid of your injections and cream, testosterone cream, so that we can increase your DHT, and that very well may help. Interestingly enough, the DHT itself, right? It binds right to the libido centers, and it binds right to a lot of things. But it could also help by improving, because DHT specifically there's androgen receptors inside the endothelial cells, and the specific function is to vasodilate, right? So if we increase vasodilation with extra DHT, we're actually reducing hypertension. So that could be a factor of it too.
Yeah, that's as a matter of fact, now that you mentioned that, I shit you not, since I started the hybrid protocol, my sensitivity is like so much better. I mean, it's freaking awesome. You forget when you lose it for so long, you truly forget.
Yeah.
And then when it comes back, you're like, oh, that's freaking sweet. Hey, guess what? Boston Sean, what peptides is Dave using? Well, we're just about to get into that, Dave. Let's talk about
right this second, or have I been using? Or
I wanted to ask you, because this has been a real dramatic process for you over the last year or so. What peptides currently are you utilizing with your protocol?
Currently, I've actually been using Glow, the GHK Copper BPC 157 TB500 combination for a couple of reasons on that one. My right shoulder was bothering me, probably from lifting weights and, AKA getting old at the same time. And then I also actually got some new tattoo work on that same arm. So I was like, you know what? I've got a vial of Glow. Why not just start injecting it until this vial's gone, and maybe my tattoo will heal faster, and maybe my shoulder will feel better. And it's definitely fixed my shoulder pain, and my tattoo is looking pretty good over here. So
that's great. How much did you use?
So let's see. I reconstituted the vial. It's 3 ml vial. So 3 mils with, it's a 70 milligram vial total. So it's 50 GHK copper.
Yeah.
And then 10 and 10 of the other two. And I've been doing just 15 units a day. So whatever that breaks down to on the milligrams, it's just a few milligrams a day of each.
Yeah. Good. All right.
So,
hey, Ryan, you want to take this question quick? DHT, is it prescribed in the U.S. or are we talking UGLs only? I don't even know if it's in the UGLs, really. If I remember correctly from your past streams, it was mentioned that there's no DHT cream in the United States.
Here's another testament to how little the medical community understands hormones, because DHT is a very important, very, very effective compound, and there is no DHT cream. You can't get DHT in the United States. So you would have to get the DHT cream via underground, and it's just a tragedy.
I don't even know if I've seen it in
injectable DHT as well, don't they?
I'm sorry, say that one more time, Dave.
They have injectable DHT on the UGLs as well, I believe.
And that would be fine too.
Oh, shit.
There's DHT Advante. I've seen just straight DHT that's why am I having a brain fart? All this, I think I need more estradiol or something. That is made with guaiacol, because pure DHT doesn't dissolve well into just oil. But yeah, I've seen that as well. So you can just use a testosterone cream, and because there's 5-alpha reductase enzymes that are produced by the epidermis, it will convert into a decent amount of DHT. You will notice a significant spike in your DHT. So if but for things like we used to have Austin on here talking about how he reversed gynecomastia with DHT, you would need DHT
amazing
for that. Like the testosterone cream wouldn't work for that. But if you're just looking at increasing your DHT for some of the therapeutic benefits of it, then the testosterone cream does a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm. What I'd also like to ask Dave, because you talked about how you were taking the oral Slu-pp 322. I wanted to talk about that and what your protocol was, as well as how the dosing is typically 350 milligrams or micrograms rather, but there's some prominent influencers in this space now that are talking about mega dosing these oral Slus.
Yeah, it's definitely become a thing. These guys have been, there's a couple of them I know of off the top of my head that were doing 400 milligrams a day, which is humongous. I think, yeah, the initial capsule or tablets you can get are 250 micrograms, and a lot of people recommend 2 to 3 times a day on that because of just, I guess, the oral availability of it and the half-life of it. And so I started out with those twice a day, 250 micrograms twice a day. And then I went to 3 times a day, and, it was going pretty well with that. So then I started kind of ramping up from there. And then, like I said, these guys started talking about these super high dose protocols they were doing at 400 milligrams a day, and how they had been running it for like a month, and they were all still alive. So of course I started ramping mine up to where, I started taking 750 micrograms in the morning, and then I'd take 750 in the afternoon or in the evening before I went to the gym. And then from there it went to, I'm taking a full, 4 tablets, which was a full milligram in the morning and a full milligram in the afternoon, and then stacking on another. So I was taking up to 3 milligrams a day. And during that time, one of the pictures I sent you, the one you kind of sneak peeked of the back double bicep comparison from.
Yeah, we're going to get into those right now, actually.
That was actually when I was taking that. Yeah, that one right there. I was 284 in June. And that's when I kind of started ramping up my dose of SLU, actually. And then by October, I was down to 253. So yeah,
right here. Okay.
Yeah, that one right there. Those two. So yeah, I was 284 in June, and then in October I was 253. And that 4-month span was actually kind of correlates with when I started ramping up my dose of SLU on top of my GLP, obviously, and working out.
Now, how did that make you feel? The oral Slu?
So I take methylene blue also. I take 10 milligrams of methylene blue a day.
Mm-hmm.
I was taking the SLU, and then there was actually right around the Olympia, actually, which would have been October, I added in MOTS-C at 1 milligram a day. And there's some other guys like Vigorous Steve that'll tell you, man, I mean, it feels like you could shoot lightning out of your fingertips, man. It gives you you feel like you got unlimited energy. And then, like I said, I felt like I was losing weight. It was just falling off like in buckets, man. I felt like the fat was just melting off my body. You could see from that 4-month difference on those 2 pictures.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, you can see how much, I just felt like no matter what, I mean, it didn't matter how
dramatic,
I was eating or what I was doing every day. I try to eat 250 grams of protein or more a day, but it just kind of seemed like, weight was just dropping off me. Every day I'd be lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, and it just didn't stop till, like I said, right there, I went down 30 pounds there in 4 months, and I
mean, that's a noticeable, significant difference. That really is.
Yeah, you can see I lost all that down around my waistline.
Yeah, right here. Yeah,
I thinned out. I mean, yeah, it almost looks like I got a V taper, man. For a guy that used to be 370, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
that's awesome, bro. Good work. Yeah, I'm going to skim down these pictures here, and why don't you just tell us a little bit about what's going on here? We got Dave from September of 24.
Yeah, so that's right when I started TRT, and that's like I said, I was right about 320, 325.
Mm-hmm. You don't even look like the same dude.
No, man, you can see it,
Isn't it crazy when you look back at old pictures? You're like, oh my gosh, man.
Oh, it's horrific, man. You hate it.
I love this picture here.
This was when I was 40. This was right before I got my initial blood work done, man. We were down in Mexico for my 40th birthday, actually, was the trip we went on.
Oh, look at that, man. So, June of 2024. Wouldn't even recognize you.
Same beard, man. I got the same white hair in my beard.
Yeah. But right here we got November 2025. This is one of your latest images, and we're also going to look at those a couple of Olympia pics and a couple that you have with your wife. But yeah, here's your latest one. Looking good, man.
Yeah, and like I said, I've kind of been holding my weight right around 250, give or take, down to 245, up to 255, kind of floating around. I'm kind of on a, yeah, that's our most recent gym pick.
Yeah, this is
Shout out
from
to
January.
O'Malley's.
Yeah,
Shout
let
out
me
to O'Malley's here in Portland,
put out
Oregon.
stuff in this pick here. What I think the two best things here are, Dave, your physique now, you've lost weight. This female is doing a great job too. She's got
that's my wife. If you actually look at I think I sent you the full picture of when I was 370 in that red jersey. My wife's actually in the full picture that's not cropped of just me. You have it somewhere in here. She was actually 185 pounds and I was 370, and now she's about 135, 130 to 135, depending on the day.
Excellent.
She's had a
Yeah,
great-
so
Wow.
she's down like 50
this journey
pounds.
together. Is she on HRT too?
No, she's just turning 30, man. She's not quite there yet, luckily, but she had never really lifted weights or weight trained or anything, and she started weight training with me. She had done, the typical stuff that a lot of females do with Pilates and yoga and stretching and, some at home kind of body weight dumbbell stuff, but I'll give her that. She jumped into, that October of 2024 when we started lifting, or that last week of September when we started going to the gym together. She jumped right into just weight training, like a heavy lifting program. She was doing the exact same program as me. And she was bench pressing just the bar, 45 pounds when we first started lifting. And 7 months later, she's bench pressing 120 pounds. So
yeah, that's excellent.
That's like
the newbie gains are real for sure, man.
Christina, yeah. My girlfriend did the same thing. When she first started, it was the bar. And then she just quickly shot up. And, before you know it, she's got 45s on each side.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm trying to we haven't been bench pressing a lot. I've taken a lot of the free weight compounds out. We're actually on a different split now anyway. Like, we go to the gym and she goes off and does her own thing and I go do my own thing, and then we go home, after that. But I was trying to get her up to where she was benching 135, because then I wouldn't have to keep taking the 45s off every time, because we were working out. That was more of a workout, and it made our workouts even longer. Honestly, it was just plate changes in between, because I'm bench pressing 200 pounds, she's bench pressing 90 pounds, and we're swapping a lot of plates in between. So
that's great. It's great that you took this journey together, though. Like, we do that too. Like, Christina and I work out together. We go to the gym. We do this.
It's been awesome, man. She's all in, and it's great. It's definitely great having that support. I think if you got one partner, or not doing it and one doing it, it's gonna make it that much harder to stick to it.
Oh yeah, it makes it fun.
When one person starts looking better and just doing better and feeling the benefits, then they're like, it can drive some like animosity, right?
Yeah, that works with the peptides too. I'm the guinea pig, and then when she sees how great they're working for me, she starts getting a little more curious, going, "Oh, what's that Slu-pp 332 stuff?" She called it my alphabet peptides, because it was always some weird number letter combination. So we had a joke that it was like the alphabet.
Yeah, Eric, bring up that picture of them in the gym, of him and his wife in the gym again.
You got it.
Somewhere in there, you got the one of both of us too before we lost weight too. It's pretty crazy seeing how her transformation is pretty crazy too.
But this one right here. So I think the third best thing between you two in here is these pants. Like, right,
the dump covers, man. I've got like 4 different pairs in different colors. Those are the Rascal dump covers. Shout out to Rascal, man.
That's funny.
1990 parachute.
Yeah, I was born in the 80s, man, so I'm definitely like a 90s kid, man. And those, my mom, I always tell her too, I go, you wouldn't believe this, but my mom used to like make me those like parachute pants in the 90s when they were in. My mom's like, I can just make those. Those are easy to make, because she's always been handy with the seamstress type stuff, the homemaker style thing, man. So yeah, it was just natural. So yeah, that one right there at DMV Iron Gym, that
I wanted to show you the Olympia here.
Yeah,
so you guys, that was nice.
That was
a fun time. That was at the meet and greet night when we got to meet a bunch of.
That was there too.
I know you were probably. I was standing there. That was the first time I talked to Aaron. I met Aaron that night, and I ran into Joe Sullivan and Jared Feather a couple times.
Oh yeah.
And then after that night, I ran into Joe and Jared that night, said hi to them, took a picture with them. And then after that, I swear every day at the expo, if I didn't run into Joe Sullivan like 6 times or something, we weren't at the expo anymore. It was like we kept giving each other some crap about, like, are you following me, man? It was pretty funny.
That's funny.
Now, before we move on from Slup, I actually wanted to talk about AOD 9604, Ryan, about how it's marketed as being able to metabolize very stubborn areas of fat. What is the efficacy of it?
It's all it is a part of the HGH peptide, and just it's like a portion of the HGH peptide, and it's a portion that signals lipolysis, right? So it just kind of, I mean, HGH does this plus all the other things that HGH does. So it's just part of that peptide. So
so it doesn't have the benefits of GH, however, it has the
right. It doesn't have all the benefits of GH,
Yeah,
just
okay.
the part that targets the binds to the HGH or the HGH receptors in adipose tissue and then targets lipolysis.
So it's effective. It's no joke.
Yeah, it's effective. I mean, if you have the option, just use HGH because it's got so many other benefits. HGH has the full round of benefits, right? But this part is you can prescribe it and you can get it. So yeah, I mean, it's effective. If you can't get HGH, then that is a good secondary.
Because I know somebody who's looking to stack that on top of their Retta because they feel it's going to help with fat loss.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, it will.
Okay. All right. So we're going to look at Dave's latest DEXA scan after we had looked at those pictures there, and let's just have a look here.
Yeah, the new one's nice too because it's got the before and after on there too.
Yep. So this is from 12/15/25, so not long ago at all.
Yeah. So the DEXAs are about 13 months apart because the first one was in November of 24. We got this one in December of 25. So yeah, that picture on the left is from the original DEXA.
Right.
And then this is the one on the right.
Now you're fitting in it. You're fitting
now
in
I fit in it. Yeah. My arms are pretty much all the way in there.
Keep talking. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
And if you look, if you zoom in too, if you see the difference in my visceral fat, that's the part that is pretty crazy, man. If you look at the red speckled stuff in my belly there around my spine.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting me zoom in, man. Sorry. Oh, here we go. Let me hit this. I bet you that'll do it.
There you go.
What an idiot.
Yeah, so you can see all the red around my abdomen there.
I know, and look at how much visceral fat you lost.
Yeah, look at all that visceral fat. So like I said, that first DEXA, I think it put me at like 3.6 pounds roughly of visceral fat. On this one, I was just barely over 1 pound. And I think the goal is to be under a pound, but it was just barely over a pound. I think it was like 1.1 or something, or 1.2. We'll see here when you scroll down a little ways, but
yeah, let's take a look here. See, when I pulled this up before, I actually thought it was just that one page.
there's like this place is actually really good. They're very thorough, and they're giving you
the two different dates. Look at, so your fat mass went from 132.9 down to 57.6.
Yeah. And my lean mass actually went up almost 10 pounds. So
yeah. So that means you put on 10 pounds of contractile tissue minus the fat.
Yeah.
So you're actually another 10 pounds on top of the fat.
Yeah.
loss.
So it wasn't as fast. So that's one thing I'll tell people too, is like, I didn't lose my weight as fast as I probably could have. I could have lost this 100 pounds, way faster than this. People lose a lot more weight than that a lot faster, but I wanted to make sure I was, maintaining, if not gaining muscle, which, obviously judging by this DEXA scan, I was, actually gaining muscle. I was recomping along the way, which is definitely a slower process. And I think it's more possible for larger guys like I was. It's going to be a lot easier for a guy my size to recomp than, somebody that's already more lean,
This is the huge part right here, the visceral adipose tissue.
Yeah, there it is for sure.
That's the big part. Look at that. 3.64 to 106. Almost by what? 2/3? Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. 2.6 pounds almost.
Yeah, from a volume of 106 to 31.9. So yeah, 2/3 you dropped.
Yeah, and that's obviously that fat around your organs that
that's what's
can really
bad,
mess you up long term for sure. That's the high risk fat for sure. So it was great. It was awesome seeing that go down.
Wow. Fantastic, Dave.
That was fun. It's fun too watching these charts because I've only gone the 2 times. So it's like my first one, it shows everything there. So that like all the charts are just like an X. It's like, oh yeah, your body fat went way down and your muscle mass went way up. So it's just like a big X.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, But while Ryan was gone, we were just showing how much visceral fat he lost.
Even
and
around my
we looked
face,
at-
if you zoom in on my head on that too, man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Looking back at that, I was like, you said it, it's like, oh, you look like a different guy. And I'm like, oh yeah, look at all the fat around my
Look at
neck
that.
and my head. That's
Yeah.
all gone now. It's
That's
crazy.
crazy, right? Now, did you have sleep apnea?
You know, I didn't, I'm mild snoring, you know, never diagnosed with sleep apnea, but you know, that is a good thing to touch on. I feel like my sleep drastically improved when I started TRT, even when I was still
sure.
320 pounds. You know, I hadn't been like a dreamer in a really long time. So, you know, you can assume I was probably not getting into a good deep REM sleep and staying there. So maybe a little bit of mild sleep apnea. But yeah, once I started TRT and that kind of started kicking in and settling in, I just started getting better and better sleep. And it's like I dream regularly and I started having really vivid dreams. One time I took my SLU probably a little too late at night, actually. And they say it's an exercise mimetic, right? It makes your mitochondria kind of think that you just exercised or that you're exercising. I actually had a dream that I was in like gym class, running like laps in gym class because I took it right before bed. And I'm like, I don't think that's a coincidence that I took something that's supposed to be an exercise mimetic and make your body think you're exercising. And then I started dreaming about exercising like I was in gym class in like 8th grade. It was really weird, man. It was a funny dream and it was a really weird correlation for sure.
That is funny.
Hey, Ryan, let me ask you a quick question. What would you recommend for fat loss? Would you recommend oral Slu or AOD?
Well, they work through different mechanisms. So I mean, like a combination would be fine. I don't think that
both of them would be safe to stack on top of Reddit.
Yeah, they work through different. Anything that works through different mechanisms is safe to stack on top of each other. So I would say, I mean, ultimately use both of them.
Oh wow, yeah, just dump it all in there, throw it in, including the kitchen sink, man.
I mean, the only time you get to where things can be like non-synergistic, right, or they can be dangerous, is if you're pushing the same mechanism through two different things. So, and that's kind of why like stacking androgens on top of each other starts to exacerbate issues because they're androgens binding to the same receptors doing the same thing.
Yeah,
but if fat loss is controlled through these different mechanisms, then you can use them together.
All right, let's see here. Yeah, we're going to be getting to that in a few minutes. We got a question here about what your plans for in the future. We're going to be talking about that shortly. Dave, so we already talked about your current TRT GLP protocol. Let's talk about your diet and lifestyle, the weight training in comparison to before you actually got in this health journey.
Yeah, so full lifestyle change. I'm a big proponent, and I always tell people that I talk to, you know, when I'm talking about my hormones and stuff, like you got to change your whole lifestyle. You know, the hormone replacement is only a part of the pie, and it's only going to fix so much. If you're not changing your lifestyle, it's not going to, you know, you're not going to be optimized. Basically, you're not going to be optimal. So that's why we started lifting weights. We started out, when we started working out at first, we started out only doing 3 days a week. And, you know, I always tell my friends that ask about weight training, because they see us posting lots of pictures and stuff, that if you're only figure out how, when they're like, what should I do at the gym? I'm like, well, the first thing you need to do is figure out how much time are you realistically going to dedicate to working out each week? Are you going to go 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week? And I'm like, be honest with yourself, because if you say, I'm going to go every day to the gym this week, and then you don't, and you only make it 2 days that week, you're going to feel like you failed, and then you're going to stop trying after that. I think that's kind of that's like a vicious loophole that people get into. So I try to tell people, it's like, if you're only going to go 2 days a week, that's fine. I'd say that's like the minimum. I'd say bare minimum, if you want to start out easy, just so you can feel like you're building some wins, go 2 days a week. And if you're only going 2 days a week, just do full body workouts, because then you're going to work, you're going to work every muscle group twice a week, and which is more optimal than if you're just doing, you know, a couple, whatever, twice a week. 3 days a week, I kind of say same thing. Some people say go to a push-pull legs, but I tell people stick with the full body stuff. And that's what we started out doing. We were only doing 3 days a week. So we started out just doing full body workouts, and we'd hit the same muscle groups, but we'd do different movements, you know, all 3 days. And I think that worked out great. It was good for us starting out, just to kind of get in the groove. and get some gains. And then it's actually really flexible too. It's nice. It gives you four rest days a week. I mean, you have ample time to recover. You're not building a lot of fatigue. It's flexible. So like, hey, I've got something going on today after work. I can't go to the gym. So I'll go the next day, and you can kind of move things around. It's really flexible, and it's great for a lot of people.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because so many people are like, I'm pressed for time, and it used to be where in the summer I can do this. I can get out like super ass early. I could be at the gyms working out at 6:30 a.m. and be home by like a little after 8, and then that'd be like a full body done workout, right? But in the winter, my body just does not get going in the morning. It takes me a while, and it's cold, and I gotta warm up the car and all that crap. And it's like I have no interest in leaving the house in the morning in the winter. I truly despise the winters. So like I had surgery a couple months back. I kind of started getting back into rehab, and then I stopped. I haven't been back in the gym in like a month at least, and it's really starting to piss me off. So I'm thinking like that 2-day deal, it'd be perfect. Just hit it full body, and we got a elliptical here. I could do cardio more than twice a week. So thank you for that. That makes a lot of sense, man.
Yeah, just get the full body in, and go a little higher on the intensity. If you're not going higher on the frequency, you just go, there's different levels. So you either got frequency, intensity, you got to kind of adjust everything. If you're going really intense, then maybe you don't go as frequent. And if you're going really frequently and doing high volume, then maybe you turn down the intensity knob a little bit. So
that's it. It's about how quickly you can recover, right? And
yeah, it's all
just
about
work that
balance.
muscle group again.
Right.
So guys, I wanted to let you be aware that the Q&A segment will be coming up shortly. So it's all topics. You guys want to drop some questions, we'll answer those for you. And we're going to get to what Dave's future plans here, what compounds he may run or may not run in the future. So Dave, please, with this amazing transformation, what you've been going through, it seems like you're having a great time with your wife. I know that's fun because my wife's on HRT too, and she's really into fitness right now. She's got some significant goals. She's having a good time with it, and it's a lot of fun. I imagine that you're doing that too. So what are your goals for the future with your fitness journey? And then we'll have you talk to the audience.
You want me to dive into the food stuff real quick? I got a little wrapped up on working out.
Let's talk a little bit about your food and all that, and then what your future is, if you're going to add any more compounds.
What I want to highlight too, so Dave, there was a time when you started working out more, right? You were doing twice a week first.
Right. We started out 3 days a week. And then, probably about that like 6-month mark, we got to a point where I felt like the full body workouts weren't getting me enough. And maybe as the testosterone started kind of amping up in my body too, like I was recovering faster and I wasn't getting sore. I wasn't getting any, delayed onset muscle soreness, no DOMs. And I was like, I don't know if I'm putting in enough volume now.
Right.
Every day.
More motivation. You're like, you know what?
Yeah.
And this is what I want to highlight, right? This is what testosterone does. This is why we should give testosterone to people who are obese, who people are looking to build something, because you start off at 2 days a week, you start seeing the progress, you start seeing gains, and then that's dopaminergic. Like that makes you go, oh, okay, I'm building something here. I want to work harder to build this thing. So you started working out more, right? And you're seeing more gains. And
I ramped it up. We went to a 4-day upper lower split after that, which was still great because you're still working everything pretty much twice a week, and you still have 3 rest days, so you get ample recovery. And then, like I said, again, the flexibility was nice. I've got two kids. I've got right now they're 12 and 16, and I coach wrestling and stuff, and we got work and whatever, and everybody's got their lives. So the 4-day split was nice because I was getting the extra volume I felt like I needed to start making more progress, as things kind of slowed down once the newbie gains or muscle memory or whatever you want to call it, since I used to work out when I was younger. And so it was good. You still got that flexibility at 4 days a week. And then I got to a point with that where, like you said, I don't know if it's just my testosterone kicking in more or whatever it was. And next thing you know, now I'm doing a 5-day split, going, man, I need more. You want it, man. You're like, give me more. I need more gains. I need more, I gotta go to the gym more.
You're building something and you're like, I want to work harder to build this thing. I want to put in the work. And that's what it does. So what I want to highlight here, right, is the hormones are foundational, right? Like Dave is absolutely correct. You have to make a complete lifestyle change, right? Like we have to get into this whole lifestyle of wellness with lifestyle, nutrition, exercise. But the hormones are also foundational. Without the hormones, you don't see that progress in the gym, like Dave was seeing. Dave and his wife were saying, you don't see that progress in the gym, and then you're not motivated to work out more and hey, I'm building something here. I can see the results. That's the dopaminergic part, and also testosterone is dopaminergic in and of itself. But that seeing those results, the results that the hormone, getting your hormones in the right area is just a massive motivating factor to get you to start. You explained it perfectly. Start at twice a week. Hey, we started. Hey, you know what? I'm seeing some results. I want more. Motivated to go to 4 times a week, and then it's 5 times, and that's fantastic. I love that.
And like you said, if you're not getting those results, it's you don't have that motivation because, like I said, back in my 20s when I was lifting regularly, before I was not getting the results, and it's one of those things where you're like, man, it's just you feel like you're just treading water. You're working really, really hard and not getting a result, so it's definitely going to crush your spirits a little bit, but. And then on the food side of things, with the working out, obviously, like I said, and the dieting, I've always tried to eat really high protein. 240, 250 grams of protein is kind of like my minimum that I try to hit. And then there's days, where, I'm well up over 300 sometimes, not even on purpose, just because I got to a point where naturally I was kind of eating lower carb. When I was 340 pounds, my calorie deficit was like 2,800 calories a day, man. I was losing weight on eating like a horse still, when you're eating whole foods, not a bunch of junk. I mean, 2,800 calories, 3,000 calories is a lot. So, to be able to lose weight on 2,700, 2,800 calories, it's a lot of food actually, especially when you're trying to cram in 250 grams of protein. So I was actually losing a ton of weight and complaining about how much food I had to eat at the same time. It was a really weird paradox that, that a lot of people probably might not understand, so.
Right. Yeah. Especially if you're a bodybuilder. I mean, they have to eat like 10,000, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 10,000 calories a day. Can you
right.
And their problem is stuffing their face with as much food. And just like you said, though, they're eating the right foods. But
and there goes, those guys are trying to get in like 1,000 carbs a day. So, I mean, I was eating mine, with my high protein and stuff, I was eating between probably 130 to 150, grams of carbs a day. So not even super high. That's probably like the bare minimum you'd want to eat, to be able to sustain workouts and stuff. And yeah, I mean, a lot of times I'd feel kind of flat in the gym or whatever, and that's just what it was. I just kind of, I chalked it up to, I'm dieting. I basically was dieting for a whole year, man. I mean, over a year, I started in August and it wasn't until probably this last fall where I kind of just started maintaining, and I've been maintaining for a while. My deficit got lower and lower and lower, obviously, as my metabolism adjusted. It became lower and lower and lower, and it was starting to take more and more and more, of a deficit. So then I worked my way down to where I was, 2,500 calories was my deficit, then 2,200 was my deficit, and then eventually I got down to like 2,000 was my deficit, and then I kind of plateaued to where 2,000 kind of seemed more like my maintenance, 2,000, 2,100 calories. And, I was going to have to be, down in like the 1,900 range, to start being in a deficit. And that's kind of the point where I was like, okay, enough's enough. Because even at 2,000 calories, trying to eat 250 grams of protein in your 2,000 calories and not go over, it gets a little tricky. I mean, I'm eating, trying to get 50, 60 grams of, some kind of like chicken or ground turkey or something in. And, I'm supplementing with yogurt and protein powder and all these things to try to sneak it in, in there. And so that's when I decided, I'm going to kind of ramp things back up and try to kind of do maybe a refeed or reverse diet and slowly started ramping back up the last couple months. And I'm back up to right now where I'm eating, pretty close to 3,000 calories a day again. And I'm kind of maintaining, I've been maintaining my weight within about 5 pounds roughly, just depending on, glycogen and water weight and stuff.
The goal is to trick your metabolism, right? Because just like you indicated, as we lower our calories, your body will actually reduce its metabolism. You'll reduce your base metabolic rate in order to deal with the low calories intake. So So the refeed is tricking your body into thinking that you're getting plenty of calories, so your metabolism jumps back up. Then you cut the calories again, and while your metabolism is still up here. So this is also the magic of retatrutide, right? Like the GIP glucagon receptor agonization at the same time. We can it's actually a throttle switch for your metabolism. It doesn't let your body shut down the metabolism. It just keeps the gas pedal on. So that's one of the magics of retatrutide.
Yeah, and I feel like that's when I was taking that SLU also seemed kind of similar, man. I mean, it like you said, my mitochondria or whatever were just firing and burning calories and energy, you know, all the time basically. And it didn't matter if I was eating at maintenance. You know, I thought I was eating at maintenance, you know, what was maintenance for a while there, and it felt like my metabolism kind of kicked into overdrive when I was taking that, especially the higher I started dosing it. Like I said, when I was doing 2-3 milligrams a day. So which now, like I said, wasn't even that high, but so I started reversing back up, and you know, I'm glad you mentioned the refeeds too, because I would do refeeds, you know, do like whether it was a day or a weekend or a week or something during a deload. Anytime I'd take a deload from the gym, I would do kind of like a deload and refeed week where I kind of just ate at what I felt like my maintenance was, or even slightly above my maintenance, because like you said, your body starts thinking, oh man, we're, you know,
I'm in starvation mode.
Yeah, so we're you know, and people don't like the term starvation mode, and maybe it's not technically like a starvation mode, but your body, like you said, is adjusting its metabolism based on we're not in a surplus. Think food is not abundant right now. I'm going to slow the metabolism down to account for that. And then so I would refeed like once, you know, every like, you know, 8 weeks, 10 weeks or whatever, you know, as I did a deload from the gym, just to kind of get my body to go, oh yeah. And I did notice like, okay, I'm plateaued for the last like week or two on my weight. I'll do a little bit of a refeed, take a deload at the gym, get rid of whatever, I guess, probably some inflammation built up from working out, and let my body go, oh, okay. And then as soon as your body thinks, oh, but look, we're good again, there's food again, all that, it's like water, they call it the whoosh effect, I guess some people call it, where it just goes, oh, okay, I'm good, and I don't know, it just releases, and you'll drop like, you know, 5-10 pounds that week or something all of a sudden, because your body was like, oh yeah, we're good, man, there's food again. So the refeeds are definitely important. So, but yeah, I've slowly worked back up. I'm at like 3,000 calories right now, and it's also rough. I'm complaining about having to eat too much again, man. It's crazy. I'm eating 2 or 3 dinners sometimes to get back up, because I was eating such low calories for so long. I just naturally am like not as hungry anymore. So.
All right, we got a couple of good questions here, Ryan. This one here, he would like to know if you guys had said during the initial consultation, it's free, right? All right. Do you recommend the blood work you would like to see during the consultation? He's asking on behalf of his wife, who is clueless in these regards. Well, a lot of people are, so it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah. There's certain things that we need to see to be able to give you a in-depth consultation, right? So now if you happen to have had this blood work, like Dave came, he had all the blood work we needed. If you have that,
it has to be within the 6 months, correct?
Yeah, we like to see 6 months now. Not to say that there isn't a time or two when we haven't been able to accept something a little later than that, just because like for instance, if they have most everything we need, but they're missing one blood test, we say, well, go back, see, do you have one like a year ago? And then we'll accept like one, you know, like one test, a PSA.
Right.
So like, but yeah, we like to see it within the last 6 months. But so yeah, I mean, if you don't, and so believe me, if a lot of people go, well, I had my blood test taken by my PCP. Let me see if that has it on it. Believe me, your PCP.
If you didn't ask for it with those guys, it's not on there for sure.
So if you're not sure, it wasn't done. So yeah, so then we have a pretty easy system to get the blood work that we need, right? We have we have these third-party blood work companies that give our patients discounts. It's pretty it's a decent price. It's a good price for the blood tests, and you just go. You know, you get a link, you go to this link, it lays it out how to get this blood test. You just go to your nearest Quest Labs, take that blood test, and they send it to you, and then you'll have it, and then you can just upload it in our platform, and we can walk you through that process.
Great. Yeah. Best thing you could do is to just call that number and you'll get started because if you're on it, if you're not on it, maybe you should consider it or at least get it checked out. And if your wife is considering it, then I couldn't recommend a better clinic than hormonesforme.com. My wife has been a client since January, and it has turned her life around 180 degrees. No joke. Okay, update from Boston Sean. He wants an update on the genetic testing. He's not received it yet.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure what he means. Did he actually like if he actually paid for it, then yeah, well we actually just got a is another good question. We were just on the meeting with the genetic testing company, and they have all our orders, and they are going to send the boxes out. The boxes will be sent. I think they're going to expedite that shipping. So the boxes will be sent out, and then you'll get this box, and then it walks you through the process of obtaining your genetic data, your genetic information, and then you just mail it back. Now, when you mail it back, it probably will take a month or so because it takes a while for them to do the genetic testing and get all the results from that. But yeah, you should have those boxes pretty soon.
Great. Let's see. I thought we had another question here. Oh yeah, right here. From Boston Sean again, member at that. When will we see the branding, the website, nutritionists, trainers, etc., and how will the pricing work for the add-on service? That's something actually, Ryan, back in the beginning that we kind of skipped over a bit was the custom, the vitality, and the apex plans. Because he's asking about how will the pricing work on add-on services. Now, would any of those services there include those add-ons?
Yeah, so these will all be add-on services, right? So the new branding, the website is supposed to be released the 15th in just 2 days, so on Thursday. We'll have a new website that will kind of lay out a lot more of these things. It will allow you to actually a couple of the big things is we're having a lot more supplements that are going to come in, like dialed in optimization supplements that will focus really on optimizing hormone protocols, and those will be available over the website. Also, genetic testing will be available over the website. There will be more blood testing that will be available over the website. Another thing that we're doing is we talk about being preventative, right? And I always like when I've been explaining this, I bring up this scenario because it really pissed me off. Is we got a patient recently that came to us from another hormone clinic, right? She was using another hormone clinic. It wasn't us, but she had a stroke. She was only in her 50s. She had a stroke, and then her doctors, her PCP, after she had the stroke, ran all these blood tests to see if she had a genetic mutation for a predisposition for clotting. Sure enough, she did. Why weren't these run before? Like, why don't it's just blood tests, right? Or you can do it genetic tests or blood tests. So why didn't we have this run before? So if we want to be truly preventative, we're also going to offer this in the future. In the near future, we're going to offer bundles for let's test for factor 5, all of these genetic predispositions that could increase risk for clotting. Had we known this from this female, we could have already had her on proper protocols to prevent clotting. But why is it reactive? Like you have a clot, you have a stroke, and then let's test for all these. We could be testing for this. The MTHFR gene, if we can test for that, right? So we have genetic testing for that. So if it's important to know if you have that mutation, so you know to take the proper methylated B vitamins, right? It's really important, or you kind of can be stuck in this freaking metabolic funk from that and not properly processing your B vitamins. So we're gonna have these things, these protocols to test for all of this. So you can come out and say, okay, now I have a full understanding of my genetics and how to what will be most optimal for me based on that. It's just crazy that we're not doing this. Like, why is it so reactive? Like her PCP tested for blood clots after she had a stroke. Like, this should be base testing for everybody. Do you have these genetic predispositions? If so, we can actually plan out your all your treatments and protocols. It's just crazy to me. So that's what we're gonna have. We're gonna have a lot of that too. What else was this question? Branding. Nutrition.
Oh yeah, the branding. There we go. Yeah, the different types of add-on services.
Yeah.
And
So all these services will be available. We'll have them available. We'll lay out exactly how it's going to work, but it will be like add-on services. And like for instance, and we try to keep, like, our main thing is to keep everything affordable, right? So the genetic testing, we have the lowest prices for any genetic testing in any industry. And we're not making anything off of it. We're just we struck a deal and we're just charging at cost because we want to bring people in and help people understand their genetics. We price it to make a bunch of money on it. Like nobody's going to order it. Like I think like Merrick has like some genetic testing, but it's so freaking expensive. Like nobody uses it. So why? I mean, how like
they had a CAG repeat test I looked at was ridiculously expensive.
It's really expensive, and I'm trying to get the same CAG repeat, and we're going to price it a lot better. And we're working on the CAG repeat test as well.
That's awesome, man.
But we're going to price it better. Like what good are these tests if nobody's taking them, right? So we're going to price it accordingly. We want to bring people in, we want to help them, and we actually want data where it can actually help people. If we price people out of the market, then it's not helpful.
Yeah, I feel like that CAG repeat could be really helpful in designing people's protocols, just seeing how they're going to respond to the androgens. I mean, that seems like one of the most helpful markers right there that you could get, you know.
We're working on it. The current genetic company is working on, because we requested it, is working on preparing it for us. But so
that'd be great.
Okay, I want to back up to the let's see, who was it? You said that he had paid for it. You were talking about genetic tests.
Yeah.
Did you cover that? Did you cover that part?
I did.
Okay, then never mind. Then we're good. I just wanted
they're
to
gonna expedite the box to you. You'll get it, and then but you will get it. We just had a meeting about it.
Perfect. So here from Billy Munn, he's just asking what causes the heart rate to go up after a shot of test.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be testosterone it can increase tyrosine hydroxylase, which increases catecholamines. So the catecholamines are not only dopamine, serotonin, but also epinephrine and norepinephrine. So it could be kind of like a spike in there. I mean, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, and if it's causing problems, then we probably have to adjust the protocol.
Yeah, you can't sleep with that accelerated heart rate. Yeah.
I usually tell people take the testosterone in the morning. Don't take it at night because it can keep you awake, which is, it gives you energy, which is a positive thing. But not if you take it at night and you get energy, so you can't sleep. So take your testosterone in the morning.
I feel like that's what I've seen on Reddit a lot too. People talking about, having a heart rate or something, or anxiety after their injection. And I'm, personally, I guess I look at it going, well, maybe it's just because you just stabbed yourself and you're maybe getting a little bit of a response from your body because you just stabbed yourself with something, and you're going to get a little bit of an adrenaline spike maybe, and then it's causing some sort of an anxiety because your heart rate went up because you know what I mean? It's like a loop. It's like a vicious loop. So
and that's actually a good point. So I mean, and I don't know everything about Billy Munn's issue here, but just do the opposite of what you're doing. So if you are taking it in the morning and you're saying by night your heart rate is increased and you can't sleep, then try the opposite. Take your injection at night, because maybe it takes the half-life is long enough where it takes that long for it to cause those problems. And if there's still a problem, then we can adjust your protocol. Like again, increasing injection frequency, taking lower doses more often could attenuate that response that you're having. And Dave is right. Like if you're doing it at night, and just because you stabbed yourself, that can actually
right. Or if you've been putting that correlation together that my heart rate's going to go up and I'm not going to be able to sleep, and you're kind of causing that anxiety maybe a little bit too, just kind of self-inflicted with that anxiety factor. It could be a little bit of all that combination of everything. All
right, hold on here. Yeah, we're gonna pass on that one question for a minute here to get to Boston Sean. Remember, do you have a patient? I'm sorry. Do you have to be a patient on TRT to access this blood work and genetic tests, etc., or will H4M also be for people not on HRT but looking for wellness?
This is correct. Yes. So you will be able to access genetic testing and blood work without being a HRT patient. You'll be able to use the supplements for hormone optimization, even though you're not on, even if you're not a patient. So yes, all this will be accessible by anybody.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right. Bring people into our ecosystem so that we can help you get healthy. Like we still want to help people, even if you're not a hormone.
Right. You don't have to be on just HRT just to be able to access some of this,
we want you
wellness.
in our ecosystem so that you can learn and we can educate and we can help. And then, you know, at some point when it's time for, when you realize it's time for hormones, then we'll be there to help with that too. But certainly we want to just help people with their lifestyle and just help improve people's quality of life with health and wellness.
One more thing, Ryan, before we move on to with Billy's question about the heart rate after the shot. Correct me if I'm wrong, but couldn't it also be something with like caffeine, being more caffeine sensitive? If people are drinking a lot of caffeine, and the testosterone could be amplifying their sensitivity to that caffeine. So maybe, you know, maybe previously you were tolerant of whatever level of caffeine you drink during the day or whatever it may be, and then you get on TRT, and next thing you know, you're not as tolerant, and it's kind of amplifying that.
So so caffeine's an MAOI, right? Testosterone increases tyrosine hydroxylase, which increases the production of dopamine, right? Mm-hmm. So, and the rest of the norepinephrine and epinephrine, right, which is going to raise, all those are going to raise heart rate. So if, just like you said, if you're increasing catecholamines and then caffeine is a MAOI that is inhibiting the breakdown of those catecholamines, then we're just going to have more of those in our system, right? So yeah, that's a good point, Dave. Caffeine would have more of an effect.
Ain't that the truth? Ryan talks about this all the time. It's a psychology. People want to start HRT every little symptom they have.
Yeah, post hoc fallacy.
I had a guy one time was like, my foot, I had this pain in my foot, so I stopped the TRT. I'm like, what? You had a pain in your foot? Like, what? How is that possibly related to testosterone? HRT does get blamed for everything that is noticed. It's the HRT, and we have to realize that life happens, things happen. We still have other
similar to saying my dog barked and then there was lightning outside. So my dog barking caused the lightning outside.
All right. Last question here before we move along, because we're about to be wrapping this up here shortly, guys. From Boston Sean member Ryan, what's your thoughts on RFK and what he's done and hasn't done thus far?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it's kind of funny. When was I talking about this?
Probably last stream.
It might have been. I think I was talking about this earlier today. Maybe it was with one of our patients. I think overall it's been really good. It's been great for the whole administration. Marty McCary has been fantastic for starting to destigmatize TRT, both HRT for women and testosterone for men. I think there's more coming. I think it's been fantastic. RFK's, I think, you know, is just it's been, you know, fantastic what he's doing. Like the interesting thing about the food pyramid, right? Like, so they've recently just flipped the food pyramid. Like, and the funny thing is that the people in the know, the people who understand this have known this for 10 years. Like that the current food pyramid was all wrong. Like it's just been common knowledge, right? And now that he's finally done it, there are some people who are up in arms about doing this thing that anybody who really knows how to do this stuff, anybody who's been dieting has realized that the food pyramid needs to be flipped over. It's been so some of this stuff is just the obvious. Like we knew it had to be done, and anybody who's surprised by this is obviously does not understand nutrition, right? What I like is just is that finally these agencies are getting some of the things done that need to be done. Also, the destigmatization of testosterone is something that needed to be done. It's one of the most beneficial medications in the history of medications. this needed to happen. And I do appreciate the administration for finally pushing this stuff through. I think it needs to go a little faster, even. Like, it's still like, they're still like, oh, well, we just want to make sure of the risk. There's no risks to testosterone. I'm going to pound this in. Every single risk factor has been debunked. In therapeutic doses, there are no risks to testosterone. Everything's been debunked, only benefits. That's been proven through studies, long-term studies. There's been data for 80 years. Testosterone's been around, has been shown that there's no long-term adverse consequences, only benefits in therapeutic doses. So I think it still needs to go faster, but whatever, it's going in the right direction. I'm just happy something's happening. What I will say that RFK has not done, what they've promised to do, is end the suppression of peptides. Like, this is freaking ridiculous. Like, we're still having problems with peptides. Like, knock it off.
I can't order Retta.
That was
I can't order any GLPs now.
Yeah.
What the freak is going on?
Like, it can get complex. Like, I don't know exactly what's going on, whether it's the drug companies have, right, because they have to bring all these things through all this massive process. It's like it costs $1 billion to bring a drug through the trials and do it, right? So they need to get recompensed for all of this money they paid through the GLP-1s. Okay, I almost get that. So it's like, however, it's just out of the reach of the average person. We need the GLP-1s. They are miracle drugs. They have dramatically reduced reversed diabetes, reversed metabolic disorder. They've really cleared up obesity, reduced, they've done throughout the world, right? Hundreds of millions of people have benefited from these.
They just don't want you to be able to access it on your own.
Right. We need access to them. So if you need to, so Trump has also like kind of struck a deal with the drug companies saying, make these things more affordable. Okay. So, if you do that, then that's fine. Make it more affordable. Let the
prices are ridiculous.
Like the drug companies have to be recompensed for the massive investment they put in bringing these things through the FDA trials. Okay. So whatever, figure it out. Change the FDA, change the process. It's not working, right? Because the FDA is also not going to, they're not going to we need an FDA approved version of female testosterone. Like, who's going to fund that? Right. Because we already can give females testosterone. You just have to give them the things that are FDA approved to the males. But like, nobody's going to pay like that much money to fund all these studies that need to go into showing that female dose testosterone is safe. It's just ridiculous. So you got to change the FDA process. Like, I don't know exactly what to do, but figure it the frick out. I said frick. Like I can't.
You've been saying fuck earlier all night. No, all of a sudden he's like frick, sugar and spice.
but
it's like flipping the food
I don't
pyramid.
give a shit how you do it. Just figure it out. So that's the part where I think RFK, he promised to end the suppression of peptides, and it's not only the GLP-1s, like all the rest of them too. Like, there's this talk about possibly coming down on the research sites, right? Like, why? The FDA is not going to approve BPC 157 because it's too expensive and it's a naturally occurring hormone, and you can't patent it. So nobody's going to do FDA approval for that. So you have to end the suppression. Just, it has to be available. We have to be able to buy it over the counter. It's just, yeah. And Sean's right here, right? Like so we have to make these things more available, and that was promised by RFK, and I don't see that happening yet. So we need to end the suppression of peptides like you promised.
Yeah, we'll do that, Boston Sean. It'll happen. It's on the list. But yeah, great questions tonight, guys. So Dave here, before we get into wrapping these things up tonight, we wanted to cover what are your plans for the future here? Are you going to just stick with your protocol? Were you considering trying maybe running a cycle or two, see what happens, or what's your goals here?
Yeah, I saw somebody was asking about that. Somebody suggested some D-ball. That seems to be the suggestion in the chat today.
Well, that's the ongoing joke that we have with Ryan, because that's his answer for everything.
Yeah. So many like of the new influencers and the bodybuilders are shitting on D-ball, and D-ball is fantastic. Like that's great. There's context behind it, but
Yeah.
D-ball is one of the most number one selling compounds in the history of steroids for a reason, because if in the for the right people, the people who do well with it,
who
do
can tolerate it,
and so
Yeah.
it's like, if I don't like shitting on D-ball, one of the best selling, one of the best selling compounds in the history of steroid sales for a reason, because people freaking love it. So
have you noticed that with
D-ball?
D-ball? Have you noticed that with D-ball, people seem to do way better on it if they just take D-ball straight up with nothing else.
Right, because it converts to a really potent form
Yeah.
of estrogen, right? So of estradiol, like a methylated estradiol. So sometimes combining that with too much testosterone, it's just too much estrogen.
Right.
But yeah, so these D-ball only gangsters, sometimes they do well. They do
Yeah,
well.
that was what everybody was doing back when I was, a kid, like in my early 20s, even late teens.
Well,
people were just doing D-ball only.
Because
That and DEXA only, because that's all they could get.
What a lot of the younger guys don't understand, and especially Dave, you might not know this if you just started in this game, but back in the early 2000s, it was, and especially the late 90s, early 2000s, it was really tough to get steroids. Like, it wasn't easy. So you'd take whatever you could get your hands on.
Right.
There was only D-ball, whatever was going around, floating around the gym, right? And you had to just use that, whatever it was. And that's why people used only nandrolone, because if only DECA was going around, that's all you could get your hands on, then you take it. Right. And that's where the myth of DECA came up, right? And if you could only get D-ball, well, then you take it. But yeah.
I remember the first time I actually ever saw anabolic androgenic steroids was when my older brother, who was 10 years older than me, I had a friend who was like a small town, like just a guy who could get it. He paid $150 for 4 ampules of Sustanon 250.
It used to be expensive.
Yeah. And it was like, what? So this is one month's worth?
Yeah.
That's it. 250 milligrams a week.
I used to pay $6 per pill of Anadrol, for a 50 milligram pill of Anadrol. $6 per pill. I'd buy 20 of them for $120, and that's all I had.
That's crazy. So my future plan, man. Honestly, I've pretty much decided. I think I'm going to do the summer shredding transformation competition and do a bodybuilding transformation division. So this summer,
you mentioned that on the phone.
We were talking about it on the phone. So, I've kind of been watching it. I'm a fan of the bodybuilding side of things, and I've obviously seen summer shredding is one of the ones that actually does a transformation division, and so I've followed that a little bit and seen some of the people that go on there and their transformations that they come up with, and so I think it just kind of makes sense. My 2026 goal, my plan for this year, is to do the summer shred. I'm looking at they've got a couple different shows. I think they do June, July, and September. And I think the one in August is up in like Canada, but I think I'm going to do July of 2026 here. And so, yeah, I think I've got my, like I said, I've been kind of doing like a maintenance kind of refeed reverse diet here just to get ready so that I can start cutting again here coming up here probably in February and start cutting down. So that last DEXA, I was still about 24% body fat. Like I said, at my heaviest, I was probably over 50%. The first DEXA, I was still 43%. And so my goal is to kind of cut down to, somewhere around 10 or 12% body fat. And I think at that point, if I just maintain the muscle mass I have now, I'd be right around 220, probably 225-ish, roughly, just based on the math. But I might try to put on a little muscle along the way. We'll see how it goes. As far as adding more compounds, I did add some oxandrolone to my protocol.
Oh, nice.
I haven't started taking it yet, but I did put it in with my order, and it is here, and it has arrived. I'm leaving for Mexico tomorrow, and then I think when I get back, I'll probably add that into the protocol once I get home and start hitting my cut, and we'll see how it goes. That's the goal.
Oxandrolin's awesome. It really is. But I don't know if you got the 50s or what, but don't
I just went with the 25s. I just went
Yeah,
with the
okay, that's
25s.
a better start, man, because
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
went with the 25s.
50.
I may or may not have some UGL-10s laying around that I'm gonna do
Yeah.
a little small kickstart with. I'm gonna do 10 twice a day first,
The
and
That's actually a
I think
decent dose.
yeah, I think I'm
That's
gonna
a
run that for
decent
6
dose.
to 8 weeks. Then I'm gonna do for probably like an 8-week washout, and then for the last like 8 weeks before the show, I'm gonna go with the
Now,
25 at that
what
point.
was your SHBG on your labs? Because you're gonna have an
So
issue running oxandrolone not long.
my
That kind of dose.
SHBG pre-TRT was actually like 16, and now that I'm on TRT, it's always been up in the 20s. It actually went up,
good.
and I'm assuming some of that's because A, I've lost a lot of weight, and B, you know, my estradiol is up higher now because I haven't been using an AI or anything. So I think that combination of those two things is what's kicked it up higher. So
Better diet. Some of the
yeah.
things that it's we learned that it's not this, but it's the factors that will spike insulin in production.
Yeah, the lower carb diet. Yeah,
when you eat better, your SHBG, but especially estradiol, really promotes the production of SHBG. So I see that a lot. People with low testosterone have low estradiol and therefore low SHBG. They start taking TRT, and most people think, oh, the increased testosterone will reduce SHBG, and androgens do reduce SHBG, but the extra estradiol is kind of supersedes that with TRT when you take TRT.
Yeah,
I wanted to look at this real quick. This goes back to A7 24, looking at the trends of your SHBG serum.
Yeah, that was my pre-TRT, my first one.
Oh, pre-TRT. Okay.
Yeah, 8.7's pre-TRT, and then that other one. There's a good trend one right there. Yeah, I tried to take these trend screenshots, and you can kind of see as I adjusted my dose over that year.
Yeah, the testosterone jumped up.
Yeah, so yeah, that jumped up. So the 544. If you go back to that one real quick, the 544 was on the 120 milligrams. The 782 was at 180 milligrams a week, split 3 times. And then the 808, that's actually where I added in the HCG. So I only got like a small bump out of the HCG add-on. So, you know, I don't know, maybe a good part of my hypogonadism is because of my testicles and not my
right
HPTA, I guess. So
that's a great point, because before TRT, look at your 137.
Yeah, it was 137, and then
primary hypogonadism, like your testicles just aren't producing it. And
and my LH and FSH were both mid-range, you know, at that time too. So they were pretty much smack dab in the middle. Nothing looked crazy like it was going either way. So it was one of those things. That's probably a mix of, you know, primary and secondary mixed together. But
like the fallacy is that the Endocrine Society created these two, primary and secondary. It's very rare to find somebody that obviously falls into one of those
or the other. Yeah.
Once in a while, you'll see really high LH on somebody, and then you can say, okay, that's primary hypogonadism, but that's very rare. It's usually, like you said, a combination of both.
Right. So yeah, that's the plan for the future. And I mean, if people want to follow along, man, they can jump on like my Instagram page and follow me over there.
We'll put all that in the description.
I wanted to show your before and after again.
Yeah,
okay, guys, look at this. I mean, it's just truly
that was a good lighting, and a great shoulder pump that day. That was my shoulder day, man. And I was
awesome.
I think I was 12 grams of citrulline deep, and 5 milligrams of tadalafil, and a big time shoulder workout. That was a heavy duty pump, man. So
from that right there, oh my god,
there it was.
Not
man.
even the same guy. Look at this.
It's wild.
What a transformation.
It's crazy. And that's another good one to point out too. We were in Tequila, Mexico for my 40th birthday because we're big tequila. Well, we were big tequila drinkers. The one where I was sitting there with the glass, the pre.
Oh yeah. This one here. Yeah,
that one. That was my birthday trip to Mexico, and we're actually in the town of Tequila, and we're touring distilleries and doing tastings and stuff. And that's one thing I'll point out too is, with the GLPs especially, man, like we don't drink much anymore. I've got probably $3,000 or $4,000 worth of tequila sitting on our shelf in the other room here.
Do you?
Brought back really rare, expensive bottles, rare bottles that I can't find in Oregon. We brought a bunch of them back from Mexico and stuff. And I collect anytime I see a good bottle or a rare bottle, I'll grab it. And it really just sits on the shelf and collects dust. But I still can't help myself. I'm like, I know that's a good bottle, and I can't normally get it, so I'll buy it. And even though I know we're not really going to drink it, but yeah, with the GLPs, I mean, a lot of people will, report that, it fixes that serotonin signaling, not just for food, but for other vices that you might have too.
Yeah.
So
Right.
And also, like, I want to give testosterone due credit in that too. Like when you get the dopaminergic function, right? Your dopamine goes more towards building real accomplishments, right? So and really and those accomplishments and so you don't want to go back to some of those other kind of you know, I don't know, like almost fake ways to get the dopamine hits. You gravitate towards more of the real things that are really improving your life. So like I've also seen testosterone get people off of some of these addictive pathways, but certainly the GLP-1s, it's a combination of both of them, GLP-1s and all these real successes you're having with building a positive life, that helps it too.
Most definitely.
So Dave, I'd like for you to talk to the men out there that not knowing where to turn, they're suffering in silence. Maybe they've been rejected by the doctors, won't even check their blood work. What would you recommend for them to do? There's so many, countless millions of men in your situation that just don't even know what the freak to do. What would you suggest?
Man, just go get your blood work done. And if your doctor won't do it for you and is giving you grief, just go to a great clinic like Hormones for Me, and they'll help you get your blood work. And, you know, you might have to pay for it out of pocket, but you got to invest in yourself, man. Like I said, I could have spent a lot of time sitting around waiting and trying to be cheap, you know, and getting my insurance to pay for things. And, you know, I'm fortunate enough to have decent insurance, and I got lucky that, you know, my tirzepatide's always been covered, and I pay $25 a month for that when other people have to pay $1,200 a month out of pocket for that, you know? So I've been lucky on that end, but you know, you got to be your own advocate. Basically, you can't sit around. Nobody's going to fix things for you, man. Your doctor's not going to fix things for you. You gotta be your own advocate. You got to tell your doctor works for you, man. You need to tell him what, you know, what needs to be done for you, man. You know, and if they don't want to do that, like I said, I just had to part ways with my other GP, and I went on my way, and I'm making sure I'm taken care of. They're not there to make sure you're taken care of, man. They're ultimately there for themselves to make money because that's the job path they chose. And some of them are. I'm not going to say all doctors don't care about you, but you know, Dr. Wingy, like I said, when I worked with him, was awesome, man. He's super supportive. You know, he's still every time I post a great, you know, before and after picture, any kind of picture, you know, he follows me and stuff online, and he's still on there cheering for me too. So I mean, there is doctors that care about you, but most likely you're not going to find them in the normal you know, medical insurance field that we have to deal with, because they just unfortunately don't have the time to care about you with the way insurance and stuff works.
Yeah, they're really the thumb of the insurance company is over them, whether they want it.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not till they break free and they're doing their own thing, like Dr. Wingy or like your guys' practice, where they can actually care and give you the care that you need. It was really eye-opening and refreshing, you know, like the first couple, you know, when I started paying out of pocket for a doctor versus going in and getting it paid for by insurance. When you go from, you know, you're waiting for 20, 25 minutes, you know, when you show up 15 minutes early for your appointment, and then we're going to take you back to this room, and you're going to wait for another 15 minutes, and you're there for 30 minutes. And then the doctor comes in, you talk to him for 3 freaking minutes. And then they're, all right, good to see you, man. Thanks. And, you know, we'll see you next time. Let us know if there's anything else we can do for you. And it's like, wait, you didn't really do much for me to begin with, man.
No.
I don't know. All you did was
don't even have the
sit
time
around for 30 minutes to see you for 3 minutes, you know? And then, so like, you know, especially like with Dr. Wingy and other doctors, it's like, you know, being able to sit down and talk to your doctor for 45 minutes to an hour sometimes was like, it was crazy, man. I couldn't believe it at first. So yeah, just be your own advocate, and, you know, just do what you need to do, man. Go get your blood work checked. If you don't feel right or you feel off or whatever it is, don't make excuses and whatever it is, which is especially easy to do if your testosterone's probably lower, you know. It's real easy to make excuses.
Right. It is. I have to, you know, tell my team members here, some of my staff, like understand that like a lot of these people coming to you they have a hormone deficient state, so they're not thinking clearly. Some of them are emotional, right? And so you really sometimes you really have to go the extra mile to help them, because they're not they're in a hormone deficient state, which is not the right state of mind. So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I know somebody that used to, you know, abuse steroids for performance enhancing purposes when he was younger, and who would do something like that, right? And obviously, as we know, that can mess up your hormones later on in life. And he's older now, and he always, you know, feels like crap. And I try to say, hey man, go get your stuff fixed. I mean, you know, you used to run cycles and do whatever, and now you're obviously your hormones are off, man. You need to go at least get on TRT, go see a doctor and get some blood work done. And he's one of those guys that just doesn't care enough to take care of himself. You know, it's like you get to a point where you don't care enough to take care of yourself because your hormones are out of whack.
You almost got to hit that rock. Not even almost. You have to hit that rock bottom and be like, it's time for a change. That's what it comes down to. It's got to be up to the person. But yeah, so we're going to be wrapping it up here, guys. Dave, great show tonight, bro. This was freaking awesome. You shared so much information. We really appreciate you coming on. The audience out there, great questions. We appreciate that. Coming up in the weeks ahead. Oh, first off, please hit that like button. Also, subscribe, drop comments. You may notice on the channel, all the videos seem to be gone for a moment. Don't worry about it. We're rebranding the channel. The videos that are in private, they're getting new intros added, and they're going to be re-uploaded. They're going to unfortunately be as new videos, but the channel will be repopulated over the coming days, or it might even be a week, because it isn't a small project, to be blunt. It's not going to just happen overnight, but it will be within the next several days or so. And then look forward to that website. So please subscribe, hit like, drop comments, check out Dave's socials that are going to be in the description box. Currently, I only have his IG. Dave, what else do you?
That's pretty much it, man. I mean, I don't post much. I just started getting into posting and stuff a little bit more, but just about everywhere it's going to be heavy reset right there, just like.
Okay, so we already got you in the description box. And I'm gonna just pass it off to both Dave and Ryan here. You can say goodnight to everybody. And I wanted to say, that's right, I got sidetracked. For our upcoming streams, we are booked out into the 3rd week of February, which is our next free week. So next week we have a woman coming on, Nikki Barnett. She's gonna be talking about hormones and functional nutrition, particularly the SIRS topic Ryan liked to discuss. Then we have the following week, got Bill Simpson coming on to talk about HRT and relationships. Damian Nowak will be on to talk about the immunoassay versus LCMS labs. He's going to talk about oxandrol and SHBG and a host of other shit. And if you guys remember, maybe you don't, a lot of you guys are new here. We have Dr. Tramontano coming on. He is a PhD psychologist, and he's looking to talk about psychology and hormones, as well as nandrolone is going to be a big part of that topic. So for the next 3 weeks here after Dave, or no, 4 weeks after Dave, actually, we are booked for the next month with guests, and we will continue to book up as the weeks progress. So guys, H4M for Live is going to be going strong, and we will be here every week, even if I have to come on here by myself. Nobody else will be here, but I'll be here.
I got another one for you. Remind me, I have another one for you too.
Oh, do you? Awesome.
I did a podcast today, and he's going to be a guest as well. Yeah.
Good. How'd it go?
Good. Yeah, it was good. It will be on. We'll have to publish it. I don't have the link to his channel in front of me, but it's I think he goes as Rise 41.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. I've been in the podcast on the Anabolic Bodybuilding channel.
Okay.
He's a guest on there. So Rise 41, but we'll have to get his link and we'll promote it too. But yeah, that was a really good one. But he'll come on too. He's got a hell of a transformation story himself.
Great. That's fantastic. That's awesome. So yeah, the guests are lining up, guys. All right, Dave, Ryan, if you'd like to say goodbye, please do. We're going to wrap it up, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate. Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. It's great just chopping it up and talking about the stuff that we're all obviously passionate about, and you got a great you got a bunch of great viewers that are passionate about it as well. So it's fun, man.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
It's been great, Dave. Thanks everybody for coming. This was a fantastic, great job, Dave. Like this was incredible. You really gave us all this data that we could show too. So this was a fantastic episode. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's great, man. I never planned on inspiring people, but the more we post and stuff, we get friends and family and everybody telling us we're an inspiration. And it's weird, but it's like, okay, cool. That was an unintended consequence, but it's kind of cool, man. So if we can help other people, anytime I can help other people, then I'm all for it, man. It's great.
You don't see a lot of people who lost 120 pounds And also keep in mind you put on muscle, so you lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I put on muscle and more to go, man. That's like I said, that's the plan. I'm trying to cut, maybe another 30 pounds off here and hopefully stack on a little more muscle at the same time again. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he missed your second DEXA scan there where it had showed how much contractile tissue you actually put on.
Yeah, I did. I put on 10 pounds, basically a lean tissue is what the second DEXA. So
30 pounds of fat.
Lost 2.5, a little over 2.5 pounds of visceral fat. Lost about 20% between the two DEXAs, 20% of my body fat. I went from 43 to 23 and some change. And yeah, pretty crazy, man. So
fantastic.
All right. All right, guys. So we will be back for God. You have something else, Ryan?
No, I was just gonna say thanks for everyone for coming by. The conversations and having all the comments and people talk with us is what makes this show. So we appreciate each and every one of you as well.
All right. At that, you guys have a wonderful week, a safe weekend, and we will see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. You have a great week. Take care.